Welcome, one and all, back to a Saturday Film Club, and it's back to the normal time. We have the same time difference, so everything is back to normal, it feels like, anyway. But Jay's back. He's feeling much better, Sandy's here, happy that she read a book. So how are you guys?
I'm good. Feeling a lot better. I do still have a little bit of sniffles, so if I sniffle a bit on stream, sorry, everybody.
That's right. I've got a Vicks vapor inhaler.
Yeah,
my kid's been ill, so I'm like just making sure.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, I feel fine. Spring. No sniffles here. And the weather's really good. So yeah, all good here.
Just a headache from reading the book.
A headache from reading the book. And I'll actually Oh, go ahead.
Well, before we go, let's say what have we got? The Prestige. That is Jay's pick. Christopher Nolan. 2006, is it? Is that right? Yeah, 2006.
Believe so. That sounds about right.
Yeah, and got a good cast: Hugh Jackman, Christopher Bale, Michael Caine, and Scarlett Johansson, Andy Sykes or Sykes, as I want to pronounce it, and David Bowie out of nowhere just comes out. Yeah,
and even Rebecca Hall, who I think is a pretty good actress.
Yes,
where's she from?
She's been in. I remember she was in The Town.
Sarah,
yeah, she was Sarah. She's been in The Town. She was in Iron Man 3. She's been in a few things I've seen her in, and I always think she's a good actress. I don't know if this is one of her first major roles. I could be totally wrong on that. I'd have to look at her filmography.
So the only thing I've probably
this is one of the earliest things I think I've seen her in.
Yeah, the only thing I've actually watched, I know that she's in, is Godzilla versus Kong. And
yep, she's in that as well. She doesn't do anything bad in it. I mean, she does kind of what the script, I imagine, is telling her to do. It's just those movies. Those movies aren't very good.
Yeah, there's a script that we won't speak of on that. But Sandy, go on then. Sandy wanted it. So Sandy, you did the audio book.
I did the audio
by author.
The book is by Christopher Priest. And it was published in 1996. And I just wanted to avoid having to say, well, in the book, it's different throughout this entire review because the book is significantly different. I just wrote out a few points, not non-spoilery points here, just to share the difference. And actually, I shouldn't have read the audiobook. This is one I should have had a hard copy book. But due to the significant differences in the book and the film, I'll just make a really brief statement to avoid saying in the book. Number one, the rivalry begins very differently in the book, and the reader is moved to change his mind about whether either magician is taking the rivalry too far at any point in the story. And so there's a ping-ponging in the book that's a little different than the film. Number two, the film takes the rivalry through 4 generations. It does not stop with the deaths of the magicians we're seeing in the film. This rivalry between the two families goes across 4 generations. Number 3, the book tells the story through the writings. The journals are the storytelling device in the book. But you're hearing it through a present day reader who is in possession of the journals. And the fourth difference is that the key themes are slightly different, and I won't spoil those right now. I'll wrap up at the end with the differences on the key themes. The reason I wanted to say this up front is because I don't want to disturb the flow of conversation about the film and highlight the differences with the book, because I think they both stand alone, stand separately as works of art. But I would and you may hear me say this a few times, I would encourage anyone who is even mildly interested in the film to try to make time to read the book. That's all I'm going to say for now.
That's it. And I do like Daryl's there. Did you see that? Yeah, it's kind of true there. Kind of true. You did well.
Listen to the audio.
He's got you there. So, Jay, this is your pick.
Mm-hmm.
Reasons? before we get to it?
Honestly, I just think it's a great movie. Not to spoil the grade I'll give it at the end, but I put it on the list because it's one of my favorite movies. I just think it's very interesting. It's very well done. I actually wasn't even aware that it was a book until it got picked for this, and we pointed out that there was going to be a book Sandy would read. So I guess I can't necessarily say that I think it really fits. Well, the way I should say it is how I would have said it before I known it was a book is I would have said it's a very classic Nolan, one that makes you think, a lot of kind of interesting concepts going on. Now, however, obviously with this one, he didn't make up the concepts or the interesting thought that goes into it, but I do think it fits his style very well. So seeing him take it on and turn it into the movie that we got isn't much of a surprise because, again, I just with the twists, the turns, the drama, the emotion, all the stuff, that the stakes, everything that's kind of in it, it feels very Nolan. That's why, honestly, I always thought it was kind of an original screenplay by him. Just my lack of, having ever looked into the history of the story itself. So finding out that it's a book and is not necessarily surprising that it's a book that fits his style so well in terms of filmmaking.
Yeah. And I wonder if, chat, let's see if we can do it. I could name 5 actors and actresses that were in Marvel or DC movies. So I wonder if there's any more. I could get 5.
Yeah. Oh my God. Everybody in this movie has been all the Rebecca Hall included because she was in Iron Man 3.
There's 6.
Everybody
There's
was,
6,
yeah.
6.
Everybody in this
6.
movie was in it. Christian Bale is obviously Batman. Hugh Jackman,
Let's
Wolverine.
see where Ricky Jay was.
Interesting.
Consummate background actor. Let's see if he was in one.
Andy Serkis was in Black Panther as Claw. Is there anything else I'm forgetting now?
Okay, Ricky Jay, narrator. Teen Titans Go. I think
there you
that
go.
counts.
That'll
Can
count.
I get that count?
There we go. 7. Is that 7 then? That was like,
wow,
there's so
I
many
hadn't even
Marvel
considered
DC
that.
Here.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
And this was right before the kind of big boom for superhero movies. Obviously, we had them in the past leading up to it, but this would have been right after Batman Begins and right before Iron Man. So kind of right in that the beginning of the revival of superhero movies for the most part.
And they'd be like, well, how much are you going to pay me for this? Bloody hell, yeah, right. I'll take that. Well, yeah, because before that, Hugh Jackman.
You would have had your X-Men movies, which did well, except X-Men 3 was kind of a stinker that, kind of put the X-Men on ice for a little bit. And same for Spider-Man. Spider-Man 3 was another stinker that kind of, put the Spider-Man franchise into reboot mode. They didn't come back with it until they went with Andrew Garfield. So there was obviously, that era, of course, then you had Blade and all that. Like there was that era of the early 2000s superhero movies, but they were kind of fading out a little bit due to a couple bad ending to trilogies. So you would have had Batman Begins in 2005. And then right after this would have been 2006. And then in 2008, you would have had Iron Man and The Dark Knight. So that's kind of when it revived again. Obviously, it was a small break between those, but it did have a kind of second life breathed into it, or the genre did.
Even Jim Piddock did some work on the Batman TV series, on the animated series.
Oh, and that's a great series too.
So.
There we go.
Yeah, I didn't even recognize that while watching.
So
that's interesting.
8 at the moment. So let's chat. You're gonna have to dive in. So literally go and have a look. Go. Oh, there's got to be some minor actors that were in the background or something like that. But back to the Prestige. We get just the opening of Top Hats. Now, also, Jay, we must say this is your first period. Kind of could be classed as period drama. I mean, could
maybe say Casino was one that's not like it's in a different time period. It's not quite a period piece, but it was in a different time period. But this would probably qualify as the first one to really like go back in time a bit.
We'll go that, and I'm going to have to probably divulge the Sandy's knowledge of the book at the end about the actual time period they're supposed to be set in, and with Tesla, of course, by David Bowie, and then
Who's
what
David
it
Bowie's a
shows
superhero in his own right. He's pretty
There
awesome.
you
So
go.
Amen.
There we go. He's a star man.
yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure.
And there we go. But we get the top hats, and then we get canaries. Hey, after them.
Oh yeah.
Stacey, canaries. There we go. And then we get Alfred. Sorry, not Alfred. Cutter.
I know. Right?
Yeah, how funny. I forgot.
Alfred and Batman in the same film. It hurts
And I
my
totally
head.
forgot that Christian Bale's character and this was named Alfred also. So as soon as he said it, I was like, oh yeah. How
Oh
funny is
yes,
that?
he is. Oh
And
yes.
he's doing
yeah.
the mechanical stuff too, right? He's doing
Yep,
the.
he's kind of
you
the
know,
Alfred
I'm the
to the
gadget
Batman in
man.
this.
Uh huh.
Yeah, so he's doing So in that border scene, he's kind of showing the trick with the horrible trick. Now I didn't look it up. I'm guessing, but spoilers, everything. The trick with the birds, it was an actual thing. They killed
Yes.
the one.
I would have.
Yeah.
I assume.
I
Yeah,
assume
I'm
that
not
was
sure.
something they
I
found
mean,
out and
now
was
obviously
disgusting.
there's animal cruelty laws where you
Yeah.
most likely. I would hope to God that people aren't still doing it that way. But yeah, I would imagine at this time there was nothing to stop them from doing it like that. So I'm sure it was done that way. I just can't say for sure. I never looked up the historical accuracy.
No, it's just
And
just
this-
the
It
squash.
sets up the theme in the
Mhm.
film of how far are you willing to go? Are you willing to get your hands dirty?
Mhm.
What would you do? How far would you take it to be, the magician, the entertainer, the illusionist, whatever it is the goal is. And that theme that's divergent from the book. That is
Interesting.
not the main theme in the book. But I think you had to set that tone here because the story does jump it back and forth between locations and time periods and the two magicians so much. You need a common theme to unify the story because and I think that was a choice on Christopher Nolan's part. And when you said, Jay, you were surprised it was a book, it seemed like something from Nolan. This book would have been impossible to put on screen.
Mhm.
So the significant influence of Nolan, in fact, he's credited as a writer along with the writer of the book. It's a significant influence that he had. So it is very largely his telling of this story. And he changes the theme. And this is the thing, one of the main themes right here.
Mhm. Fair enough. And maybe that's why it feels like it fits him so well, is because he changed it to fit, how he wanted to tell it. So that would make sense then.
Yeah, we get but in the movie you do get some bit back and forth. You do get quite a lot. The jumping in forward in time and then
It's a
jumping back.
lot of back and
Well,
forth. Yeah.
and even with the narration too, you have, Hugh Jackman reading Christian Bale's journal and then vice versa. So you get a lot of that kind of narration going on, which is narrating, but telling the side of the other, because it's Hugh Jackman narrating, but he's reading the words of Alfred character. So it could be very confusing. I could see how it could have been confusing in the book as well.
But we at the first we just kind of get the glimpse of the future, I suppose you want to call it like that. And this is what's his the great
Danton.
That's it.
The great Danton.
Danton. And then his real name is Gerald. Gerald, is it Gerald?
It's I can't.
Is it Gerald or something? I can't
It's
remember.
Robert.
Is it
Rupert
Robert?
in the book. Robert.
It's Robert, and I'm
is it?
trying to remember because they go by his
Angier.
last name.
Yeah.
They call him
Angier.
but
Yeah,
it's
Angier.
Angier.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
Angier.
But yeah, so he's got the new trick, but they don't really. We're just seeing like this bit. This is the start of the movie, but the end of the part of the third act, I suppose you want to call it. As well. Yeah,
that's a good way to put it. They start the movie kind of at the end type of thing. Essentially.
And then of course, this is where Christopher Bale's character Alfred comes off, and he's got a fake word after testing the machine. And he's like, I'm part of the act, you fool. And then, of course, you just kind of see nothing really happen. And, of course, then we go back, with the what's the name trick, the canary trick. And this is where we kind of, we see the, what's it, the great Angier, I suppose you want to call it, Chris. I'm going to call it Hugh Jackman, it's easier. Can you change it?
Yeah.
It's going to be easier.
They go by multiple
does
names.
This electrifying, and it is electrifying trick to the audience. That's a good shot with his nose there. But this is where then we also get the narration of through this trick being happening of like what is going on. We get, of course, him falling into the water. The lock gets done, and this is where we get this is where we get also the Cutter, Michael Caine's character, tell us about the prestige, the pledge.
Yeah, the 3 acts of a trick.
What's it? What the pledge?
God, it's the
It's
pledge, the
trailer.
turn, and the
That's
prestige.
The prestige. That's it. But on that, then we jump straight into like a trial where Alfred is being tried for the murder of Hugh Jackman's character, where then Cutty is kind of explaining that he did do it. I know he did it, and then they're like, but we need to know how the trick works. Can't tell you that because I want to sell it like that, just in case. Yeah, so yeah, it's so the judge kindly finally goes, well, if you can't tell us, I understand your predicament. Tell us in the back.
Tell just me, that way not everybody knows it, and I'll determine whether or not it's relevant to the case or not.
But at this, Cutty is where we find out they all three of them, it's like they all worked together previously. He's kind of adamant, he murdered him. At this point, he's very adamant. Yeah, he did it. He's like that. There's no way, that the lock could have been altered. There's only one way you can do that. So yeah, he's kind of thrown him under the bus. Let's say that. And of course, he goes into the lock, the house. I don't know what you call it, the prison house, I suppose you want to call it. But yeah, this guy is a intermediate, I suppose, of Lord Cadwell. Cadwell, what's his name? Cladwell.
Colton?
Who wants to?
I can't remember exactly what they
Lord
call him.
Colton, who
Lord
wants
Colton.
to buy the apparatus.
Yeah, it was the more buy it and buy all his secrets, all his everything he's ever done. Write it down.
It's Lord Lord Caldlow. I don't know. Caldlow. Caldlow. Okay, sorry. I had to sound that one out.
It's not an easy one, huh?
Yeah. Caldlow. Okay, Caldlow.
The Lord. We call him the Lord. The Lord.
Cadlow would have been easy. That extra L in there was just throwing me off.
Yeah.
Caldlow.
That's it. But yeah, he's so Alfred behind bar, and he's making a plea. Really, he's bargaining chip is his daughter. His daughter's name is forgot her name. Oh, what's the daughter's name?
Do we hear her?
Jess, I believe.
Is that the little girl? Okay.
Yeah, I think I believe he calls her Jess a couple times, especially towards the end. So I think it's Jess. I could be wrong though.
But it is a really bargaining trip. It is like, oh, we can. Have you? And he even says that we've got her. Have you ever heard of the workhouses? I guess you have. And do you know how bad it is? So there's the bargaining chip. If you don't help us, your daughter goes to the workhouse. So, but yeah, he's at the moment. It's just give me a card, and it's get on your way. And it's kind of him plundering of like the state. What am I going to do? But then we kind of go then into the past like that. So this a bit,
but the not so distant past, the recent past.
Yeah. So this is where then Hugh Jackman's character is going to Colorado Springs after he's got the book. So he's what we don't know now, but we find out he has stolen. Well, not stolen, acquired or stolen. I think it's stolen, isn't it? Yeah, because isn't it?
Olivia stole it for him, but then he made it like he took it so that she wouldn't be blamed for it.
Even how to explain it in the.
It's hard, right?
Yeah, it's like So he's off to Colorado Springs to see Tesla, not the car, but
actually filmed in Colorado. These shots are actually filmed in Telluride and other places around Colorado Springs. Yeah.
Well, I can tell you now, none of it was filmed in the West End.
None of it at all.
None of it filmed in London.
It was funny that you pointed it out because I never knew that it was filmed mostly in California. I assumed it was filmed kind of on location. Yeah. But then when you pointed it out in the Discord chat that it was all California and I think you said a little bit of Canada, I was like, oh, interesting how they recreated it. But then I realized while watching, so much of this takes place inside of theaters and inside of buildings that
Indoors.
it's like, okay, fair enough.
And the rest
you
of it
could
can just
probably
be
easily
set. Yeah.
right. You know, you do a quick little set just to show them walking through the street. And so I'm like, okay, I guess I can understand how that they'd pull that off pretty easily.
But yeah, he's on his way to the Tesla, and the whole town is electrified. So he's quite amazed by that, but he needs to go up into the hills. So he's the first off-season hotel, and he's the first person of the season. And yeah, he wants to meet Tesla. He hasn't got really an appointment at the moment, does he?
Nope, he's just going to show up at the door.
Yeah, I'm going to show up.
Gate.
Yeah. And I like this when he's like, oh,
Metal gate.
Bang. Oh, I'm electrified.
Electrified metal gate.
Yeah, electrified.
Obviously.
See his assistant. I don't know. I don't know. It's Ali. That's it.
Actually,
Ali,
knows him. Yeah, that's right, Ali.
Yeah.
If I could also, I
Andy
mean, this is probably a good time to just kind of reflect on the Christopher Nolan color palette of golds and blues. You know, filter blue for Colorado, the sky, filter gold indoors. That is such a Christopher Nolan hallmark. I mean, even in films where a significant amount is filmed outdoors, like Dunkirk, it was still the blue and gold palette that is trademark Christopher Nolan.
Well, you even look at Batman Begins when he's with the League of Shadows in the kind of icy area. I forget where it is, the Himalayas or wherever they are. Same kind of that blue filter and a lot of that too. And when he's inside the mansion in Gotham, you get a little bit more of that kind of gold look. So this, I thought, actually was shot very much. Obviously, this would have been a year later in terms of release. I thought this movie looked a lot cinematography wise and just general overall look, color palette, all that. I thought it looked a lot like Batman Begins.
Yeah. But yeah, it's go away, you. But he thinks he's a journalist, doesn't he? It's like I told you, it looks like. But then he kind of comes out with, "I've got." Well, he recognizes him from a show, doesn't he? First of all, he goes, "Oh, you're the great Danton."
Danton.
Danton. But he's like, well, I've got loads of money. I want him to build me something that he built for. I think does he say Alfred's name?
He says something he built for someone else. He's insinuating that, or he at least believes at this point that this is also how Alfred's, performing his tricks.
That's it. Yeah. So yeah, and then
Alfred, as in Borden, not Michael Caine.
Yes, not Michael Caine.
Gonna get confusing.
It's gonna get confusing with the Alfred.
Yeah.
Yes,
but yeah. So he's there, and I love this because this is where I'll say Jay said this first bit we're getting a narration over the top of Hugh Jackman's character reading Christopher Bale's journal, and he's got so he's reading the past, kind of like what's happening, but also it's got the secrets in it of some of his work that he can unleash. But this is where we get the kind of beginnings of their I suppose friendship at the beginning. It is a kind of a working friendship, but a little bit of rivalry.
Yeah, at least they're just relationship in terms of how they know each other.
Yeah, and I'm guessing, I don't know what you call it, the plants, I suppose you want to call it. They're the people,
audience plants.
Plants. They are there to kind of make sure. I left it on this bit, so because this is quite important. Is what they do is they come in and tie this lady legs together and her wrists together because she's going to do a water plunge, like a container one. Christopher Bale's character Alfred does the hands and does it in a certain knot, and Wassame is doing the legs, and then after the first time we do it, then we find out it is Hugh Jackman's wife that they're actually doing. So
you start to get a little bit of an idea of both Hugh Jackman and Christian Bale's characters, where Christian Bale he's more of a magician looking to push the limits, whereas Hugh Jackman's more of a guy trying to get, start his own name, but not necessarily. I don't know that he's necessarily looking to advance magic in the same way that Christian Bale's characters. He really wants to change the tricks and push the tricks, and he's very very critical of the magician that they work for, that he's, that guy's not trying to change magic or not trying to advance it or push the limits.
Yeah.
So you start to understand that, what he's driven by versus what Hugh Jackman's character is driven by.
Well,
and that's where
think
they discuss using this other kind of
Yeah.
knot that could enhance the trick in
if we get
Christian
like
Bale's
this,
mind.
because this is the magician in the middle. I
Yeah.
think they say later is where we find out quite early is Hugh Jackman can please a crowd. He's the
entertainer.
showman. Yeah,
He's the greatest showman.
Yeah,
He is
He's the greatest showman.
Whereas Alfred, he can do better tricks, but he can't present it, so that it just comes across as a bit boring. We even see that later. He's like when he does the eye, he's got no pizzazz, I suppose. Like, and he can't sell a trick. And I think even Cutty says that you've got to learn how to sell it. There's not just like that. And even one of the other ones where they get one of the I suppose tries to sell a show. He goes, you've got to what is it? You got to dress it up. That's it. You got to dress it. Dress the it up a little bit. But yeah, so the thing is, yeah, she gets plunged in, and I like this because at the back, and I think you can just see it there, is when Cutty, he's got a timer and he's got an axe. So that's like the first bit. So if anything goes wrong, he'll come in. I'm guessing after a minute, she's not out. He's gonna smash like that. But then we kind of get what we just spoke about is the back and forth of the magician at the moment. He's just doing the same old everybody's ever seen it, he's just going out and then like, and this is where now this is going to be a discussion for later, is Alfred comes out, well, he needs to do a bullet trick, and then Cutty's like, that is stupid because it only takes somebody to put a button or something else down the barrel and you're dead. But then he comes out with, but I've got the greatest trick. And he even says that at this point. He's saying, I've got one of the greatest tricks ever. So, yeah. So he's already planning something like to be better than his peers, as we want to call it. But they get on. But they're all like, I suppose, at the moment, they're just all stagehands, aren't they? So they can't be being paid well.
So if I may just interject one in the book. So in the book, the reason that at least Borden and Cutter come together is because he's a carpenter. Borden's family were a family of carpenters. So they made the stage props and particularly cabinets for magicians. And he met a gentleman like in a not in a traveling show, but who traveled in, I think, to buy some furniture, who showed him a card trick when he was a kid. And then he was fascinated by it. And so he continued his carpentry to building all kinds of apparatus, the saw the lady in half and all of those things he was building. And that's how he met, not just the name they give it is I think they say engineer. It's the engineer. It's the guy who puts all the tricks together. Now, Angers in the book was not with Borden at any point during this early career. So the rivalry did not begin the way it begins in the film. They don't have a long history together. But Borden has a history in the theaters as the person who had produced the furniture.
Okay. All right, well, hold that, because then it's quite interesting what happens next. How do they get there? So that'd be quite interesting. But yeah, so we get the next day after that is we get now, they get told, don't they? If you can find out how, I can't remember this the show performer's name. If
Chen.
You can figure
His
out,
name is Chen.
Is it Chen? Okay. How he does the goldfish trick. If they can figure out how he does it, then he'll give them 5 minutes in front of a like a show kind of like booker,
an agent.
An agent, yeah.
Connect him with an agent.
And of course he does it, and then from that, boop, ta-da, like it's magic, movie magic as well. It's magic, and they can't work out how we did it. But then it is Alfred is like he's a little old man. He's like every step is like an inch. It's like he's living the act.
Yep.
And he says like that he's living it. So that's how he's getting it. So he can actually do something that we can't see, but his whole mirage, I suppose you want to call it, of like faking people is because he's living the act at the same time.
He carries everything between his knees.
Yes.
And that's how he holds everything.
There you
He
go.
holds it
Well,
between
that's
his
it,
knees because he's walked that way his entire life. He never lets anyone see the real him. So and that's really important to to the part of the story here.
Yeah. But yeah, so we get that, and then we get now Hugh Jackman and his wife, happy as things like they're just like a nice little unneeded but needed little bit of love bit into it, but we can quickly skip over that. But then we get then we get jumping into back to the future, I suppose, like that again. It's like this is where Christopher Bale meets Sarah for the first time. This is where they do the trick, and this kid, I've blessed him because he actually works out they've actually killed the bird, and it is quite bad. Bang.
It's not the bird that dies in the book. Take a
Oh.
good look at that little kid. Bye.
What is the bot? Sorry, go on, explain. The kid dies in the book.
There's a child that is utilized to demonstrate an apparatus.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
That would have made it dark. Would
And
have made
it's
it
interesting
really
because
dark.
This kid, I bring it up because this kid really doesn't have an important part in the film. She mentioned
No.
it's her
Niece.
nephew,
Sorry.
and I don't see any other reason for him in this film other than if you did read the book, you're zoning in on that kid because that's the kid that the bad thing happens to. Like know it as soon as you see him, and then you're worried like, oh my gosh, is the thing gonna happen? Now I had seen the film before I read the book before I watched the film again, so I knew that wasn't gonna happen. But when I was reading the book, I was imagining the kid as this kid because I had already seen the film, and then the book goes in a terribly different direction with a child of this age, so yeah. Sorry to go all dark and gruesome, but
No,
the book
that
is
is a bit
freaking dark and gruesome.
I'm glad
not
they
gonna say
didn't.
anymore.
I'm sorry. I'm glad they didn't do it. It's even like it's a bit disgusting with the
goodness.
bird at least. Like
Bad
that,
enough with the
like-
birds. Yep.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. Me and Jay would have gone. What, Jay? What did you put this on for?
Yeah, that's definitely not what I had ever imagined would have taken place in the actual
Yeah.
story.
Oh, that's it. But yeah, he kind of explains. Oh no, he's still alive. Look at the bird. But the kid, like, this is a bit like I don't get it because the kid's a bit like, oh, he can see the trick and he can understand the trick, but then you never see the kid again at
And he
all. He's
mentions,
not in the movie.
It's his brother. He says about the bird.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, but
Mhm.
you killed his brother or something.
Mm.
And again, I think the kid is just thrown in there to foreshadow a few things. And again,
Yeah.
to kind of harken back to some of the things that were changed
Mm.
in the, from the book.
But yeah,
Mhm.
and then we see the reality of the bird in the table. So that's it. Yeah. So yeah, it's another thing. Okay, we get to see him once. There you go. We get to see him once more with the coin, isn't it? Are you looking closely with the coin?
Mhm.
And then he kind of gives him a little speech of about life, a life lesson. That isn't a very good speech, but anyway. But it's all to literally set up him and Sarah.
Mhm.
It's literally to get them things, and then of course
And some foreshadowing of his
Yes.
character.
But yeah, this is now. I'm gonna have. Now I thought it was a bit weird, and as a woman, Sandy, I'm gonna go to your point. If you was on a date for the first time, and then he was like trying to push you in, well, I could like a cup of tea, and you're like, no, I'm okay, thank you. And then the next minute he's standing in your apartment. What are you going to do?
Oh my God. 911 is what we would, we would call. Yeah, I know
And-
she thought this was cute.
And I gotta say, this scene bothers me because I don't think it makes sense. Obviously, one, it's super creepy. But two, just in terms of like, oh, he's a magician, he can get in. Yeah, but like she just left. Like she would have to have known more about this character to like not like. It would not make any sense that she's standing with him outside the door, opens the door, walks in, and then he's in the house. Like that's literally physically impossible. Like that's not a magic trick. That's a physical impossibility. So like she would have had to have known more about the character, which obviously we'll talk about that later. But I don't think this makes sense. And I think it makes it look a little too much like, ooh, magic. See, like it's just that's too unbelievable. That she was just standing with him on the other side of the door, walks through the door, and all of a sudden he's in there with a tea kettle. Like, and also like, okay, I guess remind me to go back to this when we get to the main, plot twist later on, because there's another point that just like doesn't make sense. Like,
it does, and it's creepy. It does, and it's creepy, not in a scary, but in a ew sense. But the ooh thing is happening.
You see where my wheels are turning, like. That would have meant.
Yeah,
I can't say it without spoiling the end. I know most people watching the stream have probably already watched the movie, but for the sake of not jumping ahead story-wise, I'll bring this back up later because, like,
but you know what that
it doesn't make any sense.
It goes back to another main theme of the film, which is also a theme of the book. One that they're unified on is living your entire story like Chen, right? You have to live this thing, this lie, this persona. Every minute, every part of your life, not just when you're on stage. So that thing that means he can be, like a magician, two places in once. He's going to use that in his whole life, not just on stage. But yeah.
I could have done without this little version of a magic trick because I just think it's too unbelievable and it just doesn't make much sense. This scene has always bothered me. I'm like, that just connection, it doesn't calculate.
No. Let's move on to the EU. Move on to the EU. Back to prison. This is he hasn't got. Has he got what's the book yet? Journal?
Yeah, I believe in that first encounter with the kind of mediator.
Oh, yes, he does, because he
gives him the journal.
Yeah, because he said he signs it off. But yeah, and then we kind of get the guy who's selling the things with Cutter. It's like, what can you like? What? No, this is the judge.
Oh, this is the judge. Yeah,
this
is the judge.
Sorry. He's like, well, what is it? And he's like, this is the. It's a real.
It's not the work of a magician. It's the work of a wizard.
Yeah, that's it. Yes. So yeah, but at the moment, I think Sandy, how geeky are you? What's he been in?
Well, that's Jim Pittick. He's been in a lot. He's been in Best in Show. He's in all the Christopher Guests. He's in what's the other one?
He's been in
Mighty Wind.
Sorry,
Independence Day.
Next Generation.
Oh yeah, that too. I mean, he's just been. There's so many in this show that have
very Shakespearean actor.
They're very stagey actors. Yes, quite stagey actors. Oh, this is Jim Pittick. I'm sorry, Jim Pittick is the prosecutor. The judge is what's his name? Daniel.
Is it? I don't know.
Daniel Davis. Yeah, and you're right. He is. It's that face. That face is in everything. But yeah, he was Moriarty in Star Trek. He was in The Hunt for Red October.
Was it?
Is he still with us? I'm guessing no.
He
is still with us.
Oh,
good on him. He's 81. He's 81.
Okay. Oh, he looks older then. He looks older.
I think he's always looked older. He's one of those guys.
Old faces. Yeah.
He's one that always looks old, right? Yeah. Like even he was on Frasier. He was on now. Oh God, now I'm knowing one that he was on, like as a real scrunch face, as I would call him. Oh, I'll have to remember what that is. But he was on. He did all of his guest appearances on all those 80s sitcoms.
But yeah, he gets back, and then of course we go back to now after the explanation of the wizard and all that. It can't be explained. We get back in time to the second show. I suppose this is the second show.
The second that we're seeing, at least.
This is where, because in the first, we kind of missed over that. Alfred slips accidentally messes up the knot the first time and it slips it. What is I can't remember the two techniques, but there's one that is easy to slip out of, but it's so loose. When she goes up on the hook, it can actually slip. There is another knot.
And she could hurt herself. Yeah.
Yeah. There is another one that is more secure, but if it doesn't, if something happens on a...
If the water makes the rope swell, then it's much harder to get out of.
Yeah, so it's harder to slip out. But she's up for it. Alfred is, willing to do it as well because he thinks it would be better for the trick. But nobody else kind of knows that. Sorry. So on this one, the same kind of performance. And then this, you are led by just a slight, subtle nod and a look from both of them that they're going to change the knot.
Mm-hmm. So they're going to use the more dangerous one.
Yeah. So for us, the audience, I suppose, the audience watching, you believe they've switched it. Yep. That's the only explanation. We know that's happening. Hey, Half-Life. Hey, Davey. But so the goings on of this, and it kind of goes as normal what we've seen previously. Of course, time it goes on, of course, but it goes past the time limit. Yeah, and she's stuck in. Wouldn't you be able to test if the axe would break it in one hit?
First, yes. Wouldn't you? That was the first thing I thought. Like, is this axe going to work?
Yeah. And he uses he kind of uses the side, not the kind. I'm going to use the sharp bit, the really back end sharp bit. But yeah, so she comes out after. Yeah, I like my girlfriend. I was like, why didn't they perform CPR?
I thought the same thing, and that was So I thought the same thing, and I always have with this movie. But when I watched it before, I was just not, I guess, in the mood to in real time look it up because I was focused on the movie. But this time around, I was like, let me look into that, and I just quickly did an AI search. I'm like, oh yeah, it wasn't invented till like 1960 or something like that. So it didn't really CPR as we know it, at least. Apparently, there were earlier forms of it or things that were like it that weren't as effective as actual CPR.
But they would have
tried
rolled
something
you over to try to get the water out of your lungs. I mean, they would have done that. But geez, they used to do that raise your arm, lower your arm thing. But good God, what a horrible way to go. But and then if you remember
now, Davey, only now. But yeah, it's a thing, and of course, she dies. And then we get to the next scene. Is what we get is that he's timing himself and drowning himself in the sink, isn't he? See how long he can hold his breath. Where it's no substance to this bit. I'm guessing he's trying to. I don't know.
I think he wants to feel what it feels like.
Yeah, that's my. At first, I thought it was like a self-deletion type thing at first, and then I'm kind of look at it more now as I think he just wants to know what she went through, like how awful was it, type of thing. I think at least that's kind of my interpretation of it.
Then this is where I think we get later a subtle one is where Cutty tries to reassure him. Is like he met a sailor once and they nearly drowned, and they said it was like going. Was it going
home?
Yeah, going home. That was
like going home.
Yeah. So, but he gets some black flag. Yeah. Then we get kind of the funeral. It's a bit odd, this bit. Yeah, and of course, why isn't Alfred there at the start? And then he turns kind of halfway through the burial, not the burial. Well, and it's like the question is, even Cutter. Keep saying Cutty. That's different. Cutty is house, isn't it? The main person at house. So Cutter, he goes, "What are you doing here?" Doesn't he? He's like really stern straight away. So he must know he's done something wrong because then straight away, Hugh Jackman's character is what not was it?
Yeah,
and he's
what not did you try?
And Alfred's kind of I honestly I can't remember. Okay, in the moment, yeah, you might not even blank it out or whatever, but it's just a very weird a setup scene. I
Yeah.
thought it's like that to kind of give him the division straight away. This is their not rivalry. This is their hatred, but stems from this. Now I'm going to go back to what Sandy said probably about 20 minutes ago. Is how does this differ into the book then? Because this is how the rivalry starts. It's Hugh Jackman's wife dies, and then the obsession between them and the rivalry starts. So how is that different in the book?
I'm glad you asked, because we just talked about it a minute ago when we talked about the difference in their styles, with Borden being more technical and Angers being the showman, the entertainer. It really goes back to how they began their careers. Borden wanted to be very precise and by the fact and by the mechanics. And Angers began as a swindler, as someone who put on fake seances to essentially con grieving people out of money. And Borden thought that was very dishonorable. So Borden set out to infiltrate one of the seances and show him as a fraud. And he did. And in that moment, see, the rivalry began with small things building to bigger and bigger things. So in this seance that Borden infiltrated and knocked over the table and pulled down the blinds and showed where all the voices were coming from and everything, basically exposed Angers as a fraud. That's where it began.
So doesn't he have a wife?
He did, and that comes up later. This goes throughout their entire lives and the lives of their descendants. So all of the family members are wrapped into, think about what you see in the film. You probably see 5 or 6 instances of one-upsmanship or trying to get at each other. In the book, it's so many more than that. It's a little incremental step of, okay, this guy just showed him up as a fraud. And so right away in the book, you're on Borden's side, because you think, oh, Angers is swindling people who are mourning, and how awful, how horrible. And yay, Borden's the good guy by exposing it. Later, you find out that there is some comfort given to people who are mourning. And Angers' motivation was not to swindle them. It was actually to provide a little bit of closure and comfort. So then you hate Borden. In the book, you are going back and forth, hating one or another as these stair-step, incremental instances of revenge and rivalry continue to culminate in then, injury, damage, death. But it's not right away. And there's other things that happen that you find out later too that aren't even known to the other. But that's how it begins. They don't know each other. Like I said, Borden is a cabinet maker and he's learning magic. Angers is a showman and comes from a very welcome background. Angers really is Lord Carldon. Coldwell, whatever it is. Now you get Caldwell. He is. That's his real persona. He comes from a very wealthy family, but he was the second son. And as we know from Downton and other places, the second son, once the older son inherits the earldom, the second son is really out on his own. And he was building his furniture business and then got into magic. And so, so that's how it begins in the book. Milder, but again, clearly illustrating the differences between the technical magician and the showman, the entertainer, and some would say the charlatan that he begins as.
Yeah, because in this, what we build up to, I think there's a conflict, and I think this is one of the movies where we have a conflict of, do you like them or do you hate them? Like that. And I think it boils like, are they nice people or are they not nice people? I think we've had a few. We'll go at the end, but I think of this, because of like, he is responsible for the death, and we've seen it because it's obvious to the TV as the movie viewer that he changed the knot. And one is, again, is this the grief we're gonna have to go back to this scene because is it the grief on somebody wasn't there? Let's just say that. But yeah, it's that's it. So we get this, and of course he just I don't know, and it kind of just walks out. But then we kind of now know him and Sarah are completely together now with Alfred, and he's it's a very strange one, isn't it? He's obsessed with magic, but on the days she understands. He always says, "I love you," but she understands there are certain days you don't, and certain days you do, and it's because magic takes over him. Like in a way, I suppose, like that. He gets so
I think
obsessed.
there's a different reason for that.
Well, yes, yeah. So, but she can tell when I say I love you. She knows when the days are true and when the days are not. So yeah, but this is where he's told her he's doing a magic the bullet trick, and it's he shoots, he grabs it, and he shows it's never in the pistol at all. So it's safe unless again somebody puts a button down there or something else or stone. People have been killed to do it. But this is where he's kind of in the South London, I'm guessing near the docks, doing tricks for like pennies for the drunks, I'm guessing, like that in a down and out a tavern where he did the ring trick. But this is where I do like this where he's trying to, and they're kind of booing, and we've seen it before, don't we? It's because again he's just doing the trick, he's got no pizzazz like that, and I think that's what the two differ very, very straight off before we get to,
and this is straight from the book because they contrast the way that the two do the ring trick, that people would beg to see Angers do the rings trick because he's so adept at it, and they would describe it as the shimmering of the light, the clanking of the rings, the beautiful, all the things he could do. People just love to see him do it, and this guy couldn't pull it off because there was no finesse.
Not even talking, it's
no finesse.
Yeah, that's it. But so he gets out, and then he kind of gets spotted. Then he's like, "Boy, is this what you're here for?" And he pulls out the pistol. Can I have a volunteer with he's got his we'll have to say that he's number 2. He's got like a sidekick. Let's say that
engineer.
Engineer. But who comes forward? After a while, we just didn't get a picture of him. Let's see if we can get a picture. Let's see if we can get good, because he's dressed up, isn't he? Oh, he's not. We can't get it. Let's see. Hold it. Let's see if I can get one. But it is literally, no, it skipped. It is Hugh Jackman's character in disguise. There we go. So he gets picked out. And his first question before he raises the pistol is, "What knot did you tie?" And he's like, "Oh, that's it." But so he pulls the trigger, goes shoot. Lucky enough, the other guy moves his the weapon out of the way, and he shoots off the two of the fingers, the lower two. But while we go back. Again, we're jumping back to the diary. This is now back in Colorado Springs, where he actually reads his own name, doesn't he? So he's Alfred has written his name in the book, that he gets to the point of reading that it's I knew you were gonna have it. So it's quite good, clever. And then we go back to Sarah and Alfred, where he's got tending to his wound, and she's like, "I can't believe this is not healed yet. It was getting better." Again, just little snippets. That's it. And then we get back to this is now back in London, where we get now Hugh Jackman's character after the event has happened, and yeah, I'm guessing this was a magician's calling card, a little card underneath a pint, but this was Cutter's invitation to actually what are you doing now. I'm guessing this is where Cutter kind of knows, well, Hugh Jackman is the better. He's not the magician, the better magician. He is the showman. So he's going to get more, with my help, he's going to get more, bums on the seat, I suppose you want to call it, the best way to do it. So he gets him, this kind of theatre, kind of things like that. So like that. And it doesn't look like the theatre because he says about blacking out the windows.
No, it's a workshop basically, so they can
okay.
so they can work on all their gadgets and things they'll use for the tricks, and that's why they want to black out the windows. Or I think he says whitewash the windows. So that nobody can, so that nobody looks in, and because again, these guys are all super competitive, and not just Christian Bale and Hugh Jackman's character, but all the magicians, I'm assuming, are very. I mean, they start off trying to find how the guy does the fishbowl trick. Because they all just want to know how they do each other's tricks so they can one up the next person.
Yeah, that's it. And then we get. This is where he then introduces, and what back right at the start is where I think is where he introduces the bird trick to him, and he's like, "But I don't want to do that." And he goes, "You have to now and again get your hands dirty, but in this occasion." I've done it, so it isn't. So it is the bird trick that we see, but in this one, the bird lives. So he does the bird trick, doesn't he? It's like an infolding cage that he builds.
It's an infolding cage and a slingshot that's going to pull the bird around his body. And I like the way what they show in the film with that crank on his back that's going to have a little
rip
thing,
off the bird's head.
Some strange slingshot that brings the bird around from one sleeve to another sleeve and pop, and he has it in his other hand. Yeah,
it's there we go. Yeah, so it's like, and the worst thing is like the back bit, the pressure, it's like like that to get that to work. It's like that bird's going around there quite quick,
fast.
Fast. It might be alive when you see it first, but it won't be for long. It's like broken every bone in its body.
Master Bruce, I think you ought to try this one, Master Bruce. I can't do that. I'm sorry, I can't do Michael Caine. No one can do Michael Caine. Master Bruce.
Yeah, and he meant to space bloody doors off. We've had that. So this is where. Now we get his assistant. So he gets a bit annoyed that he needs one, but he's like, no. The whole point is you need somebody you need somebody good looking, short skirt, so it detracts the eye, and that is it. She's literally the assistant. What Scarlett Johansson's character is literally, you're the distraction.
Yep.
You are there to and it is like what sleight of hand, isn't it? But it is she's just there to be the a little bit of bosom, a little bit of a short skirt at the time, and a bit of light, so do it. But it goes on to the trick that we see with the bird, and this is how this would work. I just I'm phasmed. It's magic.
I still don't understand how it would work successfully for the bird. I mean, I guess the other side of it makes sense, but I just don't see how that bird's making it out of this one either.
No. And I'd say it's not a very good trick. It wouldn't wow me. Maybe back then, maybe.
Yeah, I think that's the thing is back then. I mean, now, God, we've seen so much stuff with magic over the years. It's changed so much. I mean, so we got to consider the time period.
Yeah. He gets the book in. So he gets the thing. But again, he's doing very simple tricks. He's not. We've seen these tricks except for the bird trick. That is a reinvention of a trick that we've already seen because of Cutter. It's nothing new. He's just a good showman. He's like he dresses well. He's got the stage. He's got the assistant now. He just knows how to sell the trick. He knows how to speak, because most of the time when we hear him before he does the trick, he's talking, he's playing up to the crowd. Let's say that. So he is the greatest showman. Yeah, that's it. But on this we get on this is the first time, is it, or the second, maybe his second show is where
this is. I think it's technically his first show because the first time we see him pull the trick off, it's for the gentleman that owns the theater to try to get him booked in it. So I believe this is the first show.
Yeah, well, unless there's a timer, but yeah, he brings two people on, and whilst they're going back and forth, this is what we don't see because it's done quite quick. Is the guy in the beard there? We can just say is Alfred, and Alfred quickly, and he realizes it's him, and he just pulls a cord, doesn't he? Pulls something to kind of make it slap.
Yeah, it pulls like the top of the cage, and it just collapses.
To crush it, and crush the lady's fingers too.
Yeah, how bad is that? It's like you want to get her own back flat, but she could have easily lost a finger. So I feel a bit bad for that. But yeah, it's
and this kind of stats for me. Obviously, with the first thing Alfred does, which ends up in the death of Hugh Jackman's character's wife, immediately you're not really on Alfred's side, but you could chalk it up to, she agreed with it as well. They were trying to enhance the show. It was an accident.
Sorry, Jay, before you say, be right back. Something just fell over and it's really windy. I'm just going to go and check on it.
Yeah, no problem.
Nope, we're going to keep going, but go ahead, Jay. Yeah.
So like at that point, you can still say, okay, obviously that was a really bad thing that happened, but it was an accident and both parties were, consent on the idea of we want to enhance the trick. We're not going to tell, the magician or even her husband at the time, who was at that point doing the other ties for the trick. It was between Christian Bale and I believe her name was Julia. It was between Alfred and Julia where they kind of give that nod of like, yeah, let's do it. Do the other knot so we can try to enhance this trick, make it look better. And obviously it doesn't go that way and she passes away and it's, it's awful, but you can still kind of feel for the Alfred character of like, he's got to be carrying immense guilt for that. This is for me where you start, and even Hugh Jackman's character, obviously what he does is wrong, but you could understand, again, not condoning it, but you can at least understand the immense pain and rage and
like let
emotions
him get back at me. Yeah.
Yeah. Like you can understand why he does what he does and kind of shoots off the two fingers of Alfred. Again, not condoning it. Obviously you don't do that, but at least it doesn't necessarily make you hate Hugh Jackman's character yet or think he's a bad guy. You kind of just think he's a guy who had immense trauma and immense emotional damage from what happened, and he made a really, really bad decision and a really awful one and did something bad.
Emotional
this
damage.
This here is where you start to see, Alfred's vindictive. He's willing to not only ruin the trick, not only consider it like, all right, we're even, I accidentally had, ended his wife. He shot off two of my fingers. Let's just call it even and go our separate ways. Like, obviously we're never going to be friends or get along. But this is where he's like, oh no, like I'm coming back for you now. And then in the same process, crushes this poor woman's fingers and kills the bird. So now you kind of like, all right, I'm really not rooting for Alfred's character at all in this little rivalry they have going on. And I think it's interesting, Sandy, that you point out in the book, you kind of go back and forth of who to root for. Because I find myself almost pretty much at no point ever rooting for Alfred's character.
No.
I'm more so just kind of going back and forth with, is Hugh Jackman going too far to the point where I can no longer root for his character? It really never becomes me. It's like from this point on, I'm kind of like, Alfred, you're kind of an ass. I really I don't like you. And then it just becomes, I feel for Hugh Jackman's character. I understand, the jealousy, all the emotions obsession that are driving him. So you kind of feel for him, but then there's points where you're like, ooh, you're kind of not a good guy either. So I found the kind of struggle with figuring out who you're, I guess, pulling for or maybe sympathizing with more is maybe the better way to put it. I find it to really just be within the Angier character and whether or not you're feeling like he's going too far or not. I think they lose that little bit of kind of going back and forth between which character you kind of feel for. And it really just becomes, for me at least, that struggle of, do I still feel for the Hugh Jackman character or is he going way too far?
Yeah, I think in the book, it's a little easier to balance because you start out not liking Anjay because you think he's a charlatan and he's taking advantage of people. And you kind of you start off with Borden being the good guy. The other reason you start off with Borden being a good guy is because the person reading the diaries is a descendant of Borden. And he's a good guy, he's just a regular guy, but he's just now learning about all this craziness in his family and the 4 generations before him that were in this, almost Hatfield and McCoy type rivalry. And so there is kind of equal, again, ratcheting up the severity, versus in the book when you begin with, you know, his wife and getting fingers shot off. You know, the film has already gone to the extremes that the book has to work its way toward. You know, in the book, you're starting off with, oh, someone's disturbed my act and turned over my table and, you know, made this family disturbed that, you know, they thought there was a real seance going on. So it's an interesting take that the film goes with, kind of starting with the extreme, but it's probably the only way you could condense such a convoluted story, right? But you're right. I don't like the Borden character in the entire film. I don't. And part of it is also the mannerisms. There was never anything that at least appeared sorry or contrite after Angers' wife, you know, met her end. There was nothing that appeared understanding there. You know, this is someone that
he could have had it later with Sarah at least.
Something there, you know, and you kind of get it with the little girl, but later, you know, with his daughter. But then if you read the book, you know what's going to happen to the kids in this situation. I'm not even going to go there until later. But you know how the rivalry is going to continue. And you know, there's I kind of don't like that it leans so heavily against Borden in the film. But then again, there's also something I find more charismatic about Hugh Jackman than I do about Christian Bale. So I lean toward, you know, I don't know. I'm leaning toward the Hugh Jackman side as well.
Is it because you like Wolverine better than Batman?
No, it's not that. It is the whole showman thing.
Yeah,
I mean, I think Hugh Jackman is also I'm not going to diss Christian Bale's roots, because Christian Bale's first role on screen was in Henry V with Ken Branagh. He was the boy who was slaughtered at Agincourt. So he also has a stage background, but I don't know. I think there is a charisma about Hugh Jackman's character in the film, as well as him as as an actor.
But yeah, so after the bird accident, he loses straight away. The guy, this guy, was it? We're closing you down.
Like, you're out.
Done.
More shows. You're done.
And he's like, I think I'm gonna have to get a comedian now. I don't even like comedians.
Hate comedians.
Like that. I was like, okay. So yeah, he's kind of out on his luck because of the betrayal. And then this is where we go now back into the future. Oh my god, so many times. It's the next jump.
It gets confusing.
Is Andy Sykes' character is there's time off, so he lets me go into town. So I thought I'd come and see you, and I'm gonna play about I'm guessing at this point he's kind of interrogating him in a nice way for Tesla, isn't he? Really, but at this point he's like, do you want to see a magic trick? And he explains the reason he was allowed to do Colorado Springs electrolyte if they allowed him to do his experience at the same time. And this is a famous thing that did actually happen. And then he kind of got sued. But this is actually a real thing Tesla actually did. The wireless.
It's a real thing.
A real
direct current
thing.
versus alternating current. And Thomas Edison is exactly as crummy historically as he is portrayed here. What a horrible, horrible human being.
It doesn't really portray him that much, but
it's interesting you say that, because me, I'm not a historian like you guys are, so there's stuff I just flat out don't know and won't pretend to know. So I know very little about Edison or Tesla, to be honest with you. And this movie once again sparked my interest. It does every time I watch it, and I just forget to follow up on it. But it sparked my interest to kind of find out more about just Tesla, his, some of what he did, and kind of that relationship between the two. Was that also like a historical rivalry, or did they just have some kind of encounters?
Gone amazing. It goes even to the point of the electric chair and how one of them screwed over one by the electric chair to show which one is more dangerous, and that was it. Oh look, they can have that, and then it's like that electricity kills people, and that's really how.
And what they did was they demonstrated that on film by using, quote, Tesla's version to trip an elephant and electrocute an elephant on film.
Jeez.
And they showed that film to get people to, cheer for Edison. I mean, you want to go into Edison, Alexander Graham Bell, those quote inventors that we praise. There are very few of them that were good people. They stole from the small people, the small inventors. They stole ideas. They ran to the patent office themselves because smaller engineers and electricians and architects couldn't do that and didn't know how to do that. And look up Antonio Meucci, who really invented the telephone, and look up there's a Scottish person who also played a big part in the telephone.
Interesting.
I mean, sorry, it's like one part of history that really irks me. That
do you know why? And I think they did this because this bit is fabricated. Of course, it's never going to be like Tesla in the American. But I think that what they're trying to show now, it's sometimes not the greatest inventor like Alfred's character that can do it. It's the showman who can sell it. And it's literally Hugh Jackman's character. He's not the greatest, but he can sell it. Exactly the same as Tesla. Everybody now, in history-wise, says Tesla, it was the better invention. But no, Edison was the better. I can discourage you, discount you in every way, making you look like the bad person by showing like, well, I'm the greatest. So that's
that's this is where GE came from. General Electric. I mean, the massive corporate. This is how GE began. So again, not
see, these are things I'm embarrassingly unknowledgeable about. So it once again makes me want to look into it more, just to learn more about these people, because I don't know enough about them as we even are supposed to know them. Never mind to go peel back the layers of the onion and find out that maybe they stole, like you said, ideas and all that kind of, and stole patents and things like that. I find it very interesting, so I would just like to learn more about it for history's sake.
Well, they even show even this it's really subtle. They don't really dive into it. Is where they do. That's Edison's lot. They've come early because they're spying. They're spying on him.
They're bullies. So
it's quite interesting. It shows the they both knew they could do wonders for the world. One just knew I can make a loads of money if I discredit that person. And that's it.
Yep.
So
more important than the advancement of the science was to discredit your rivals. And
which is kind of what these two devolve into in terms of their passion for magic.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. It was. I think they were supposed to get. That's why I think. Is it in the book? I'm guessing, is that?
Oh yeah, and that's what's kind of cool. It is, kind of the subplot, and you could take it then to, to other rivalries in history. Is again, how far will you go? Well, you'll go really far enough to electrocute an elephant on film to discredit your rival. Yeah. Right. What a horrible. And you can still find that film, by the way. It is public record.
There's only a few people, I bet you, who are even now, who have made millions or whatever through their invention that were kind of, I did it and I did it clean. I just invented it and people wanted it and they bought it. There's always been backstabbing throughout that, because there's always somebody goes, I like your idea, I'm going to nick it. There's always that one person. So it's
isn't that part of what happened with Facebook and all that?
He ripped it completely.
I have no idea. I've always heard that he ripped it from somebody else or something. There's that movie, I've never watched it.
Network, is it Network?
The Social Network.
Social Network. That's it.
I've heard of it.
It isn't them, but it is them.
I'd always heard that was kind of how it all started. And even like with the invention, isn't Bill Gates have some accusations of having stole his ideas from a college roommate as well? Am I making that up? Maybe I thought I'd heard
and-
that. These are things I've heard over the years that I've never looked into.
And I forgot the guy who did Apple, completely screwed over. He's
Oh my God! Yeah,
Wozniak,
Wozniak, Steve Jobs, and Wozniak.
Jobs,
and,
Yeah, that was another one. I did actually watch a movie on that gave me a little bit more insight to it. I don't know how
and
accurate it was,
but it's a lot funny because like you got the other ones like what probably unheard of, like Atari, Amstrad, Spectrum. They all got like brilliant, better systems, just got screwed over by the more powerful.
Interesting.
So like that.
Yeah, I've always heard of stories like that. Again, from social network, from Facebook to Bill Gates. I've never known if they were true, so don't quote me on it. I don't want to misspeak, but I've always heard that those were
the thing is,
things that
look at
happened.
the wars. Look at the wars you get. You get what Pepsi, Coca-Cola. You get Nintendo, Sega at the time. Look at those wars. They all have, if they're up there, they just war after each other. It's like like that. And you even get like that with like what's it, Adidas and Nike, and like you
That used to have it with in wrestling was a big thing with WWE, WCW. There's always things like that.
It's just we can get that 1% off you. You don't have that 1%. If I can, it's just and if
business is a cutthroat world.
Yeah, and it's gonna be if you do this, it ain't so kosher morally, but it's legally okay. Do it, So I like this. They're just showing, it's showing his talent, I suppose, at this point. And it's again then we get the first time he kind of gets noticed of this is. At I'm guessing like a World's Fair, isn't it?
Yeah, some kind of
what's
the convention type
exposition.
of thing? Yeah,
like
expo.
that's what I was thinking of. Yeah.
And this is where we need to close it down. But this is where we get Edison's really. They need to close it down.
But that's Edison's men. Yep.
Yeah, we got to close it down so we get a bit of lightning effect, and it's we get that. But then we get at the same time. This is where Jackman's character, whatever he's playing at the moment, is
Angier.
Angier.
The proper pronunciation.
Is following Alfred, and then he finds out he's got the family lifestyle. He's got a kid now. He's got his wife. It looks happy, and now this is where the rivalry, like I don't know what you call it. It's now gone to bitterness because
it escalates even more.
Yeah,
right.
It's like that's
you took that from me.
Yeah.
Right. Why should you have it when you stole mine away?
Yeah, and then this is where they're both reading the journals, and this is where we get back and forth. Now we get the kid Jess. I think you said J earlier, wasn't it?
Yeah, so, Jess, I believe.
Yeah, she's been told she's maybe getting to the workhouse, and this is what the prison guards. Well, if you can get out,
I like this scene. I like this scene.
It's one of the few times you find him to be kind of the likable one in a scenario, just because the prison guard's even less likable.
Yeah, and then he ties his legs to the thing, and he's like, like where's the key? Who's got the key? That's it. But we get down. This is where we get now we get to see the old God bless David Bowie.
Oh, God bless.
And I'm always going to say this: he's never the greatest actor. He might have been.
I think he does fine, though.
He does.
I think he does fine. Does what he needs to.
Yeah.
It's not a performance you're going to write home about, but I think he does what he needs to.
What a weird placement, though. All the actors you could have got, I'm on David Bowie, and it's a very small place, like you would have think. Because was it Hector? It's Hector, isn't it? His name's Hector.
Who's Hector?
Who?
Hector
Nicola.
Tesla, isn't it?
Nicola.
Sorry, Nicola. So
Hector?
Hector. I don't know why. Hector.
Yeah, that's my mind. Whenever I hear the name Hector, I instantly go to Troy, and I always think of that scene.
Oh,
I love
That's
the
a good
movie
film.
Troy. I love the movie
We need to watch Troy
really
before we
do.
watch The Odyssey. Yes.
See, I always say
has to
read
be
it
on the
because
list, right?
Hector in the book. You bastard! You hate Achilles. You absolutely despise Achilles for what he does to Hector, because Hector is the nicest person. Whereas Achilles, and he doesn't show it in the movie, completely off tangent, sorry guys, he's an absolute wanker. And I'm going to put the British stamp on that. He's absolutely horrible in the book. You don't like him. You don't like Achilles. And then you love Hector. And he's like, oh God,
I love that movie though. I know it's
That's a good
probably not
movie.
the most accurate, but I do love that movie.
Oh, it's a
be
good
on
fun
our,
movie.
Is it on our list? We got to throw it on the list if it's.
I don't think it
love
is.
that
Maybe
movie.
we should. It's
Maybe
a
I do,
post
yeah.
20. No, it's not a post.
That would have been 2004 ish, maybe
Yeah.
five.
I don't know.
Probably around
way
the
back.
same time as this
That
film.
was when Brad Pitt was hot. He was literally in every. They put him in. They would make money. He was like the thing. Yeah. But yeah. So. Oh, anyway, off back, David Bowie. But yeah, it's I want you to make because did we miss the bit where Alfred at this point, doesn't he? He's written just no. Ignore me. No, we haven't got to that bit. No, don't zip. So he's going to. He wants him to make the machine that he made for somebody else. And he's like, "Do you?" And he's like, "Well, how? Well, I've got the money." And he does this little trick with the bowl,
the bulb there, yeah.
But it's like a little cat and mouse, really, isn't it? I'm guessing they'll iron him up because he might be trying to nick his ideas. I'm guessing at this point in the career of Tesla, he would have been very paranoid. Everybody's going to try and nick his ideas, so that anything would have been anybody undercover to do it. But yeah, it's like, and then he eyes up like, I need it because it's an obsession. I would do anything, and then it's sort of when Tesla kind of goes, I've already started building it. So come back, isn't it? So yeah, he's
well, and he gives him a lot of warnings too. I think part of the speech that he gives him isn't just the kind of feeling him out to see if you're trying to steal my idea.
Have you got what it takes? Isn't
a
it?
little bit is like a warning of like, I don't think you totally understand what my machine is, because he again at this point, Hugh Jackman's character thinks that this is a machine that he's already built for Alfred. That's what Alfred must be using. So there's obviously a disconnect there because Tesla wouldn't even know who Alfred is. So he's with this idea of you built it for somebody else and I want to use it too. And I think Tesla's trying to give him one, a bit of that feeling out process, but two, that bit of warning of like, I don't, just based off how you're approaching me about this, saying that I've built it for somebody else, I don't think you totally know what you're asking for here. I don't think you know the extent of what my machine is and all that. So it's a bit of a warning of like, just, almost to be careful what you wish for type of thing, because there's a lot that's going to come.
There's no coming back from what you think this is. Yeah.
I think there's also like, so I think he's building it for a government of some sort, right? He's building it for, some kind of weapon for the United States government is what's in my brain, or for some other government. I always thought like the U.S. government probably wants competition because you get better innovation. So if an Edison and a Tesla are going at each other, you're going to get faster inventions and better innovation. But this speech, I really like, contrast it to the speech that he gives later about, and I'll have to go back and watch it again. It's kind of about, believing in your ideas and being different. And right away, my brain switched to, this is David Bowie speaking, not like David Bowie speaking about his art versus being being different, being an innovator, being, all the things that David Bowie. I was like so fast, like this is David Bowie. This is like, what he was to music and how innovative he was and all that. But my brain just completely turned off of the words because I was now listening to David Bowie. So I thought that was cool. But the two speeches kind of juxtapose each other. One is a warning, about what you're getting yourself into. And the other one is in a way kind of an encouragement to keep being innovative because people are going to come and shut you down.
So now we get back to Scarlett Johansson and Hugh Jackman's characters. And is this where we've got to go and I'm going to go and
it's kind of a little bit of a few things going on where they're like figuring out that he's got this awesome trick.
Yeah. Well, this is when he goes, I'm going to do him, like I'm going to ruin his life and ruin him. And this is where yeah, I've just seen the most amazing trick, and this is where the bouncing ball trick. So he's going to that. He's like, I've just seen a trick I can't explain. It's the most the great, and it is literally goes in one door, bounces the ball, catches it in the other door, and that is it. So yeah.
And at this point, Michael Caine's character is telling him like it's just a double, but he's just denying that it is. And then Scarlett Johansson's character confirms that, I don't think it's just a double because you can see the glove with the fingers are padded to, the whole thing. So Michael Caine's character believes it to be a double. They just are so obsessive. Well, he's so obsessive that he believes it's not. It's got to be something more. And Scarlett Johansson's character is kind of just going along with him because she, is with him at this point.
What is another? I suppose you want to call it like a little bit off the line cuff that Michael Caine character does, Cutter. Sometimes the simplest explanation is the correct one, and he keeps on saying it over and over again through the movie. Is don't overthink it, because sometimes it is just that simple. It's just how because your mind overthinks things. And he kind of says that. He's like, well, how do we do it? And this is where they moan about the back and forth, and of course then Sarah and Alfred they get a new house because he's doing well in the trade, let's say that. And then this is where we've got to find a double. I'm gonna get the exact double. Literally in the but he's found a drunken,
coincidentally in the local pub.
In the local pub literally all around the world. I managed to find somebody who looks exactly like me,
living in the same town as you this whole time.
But he's an arse, a bit of a drunk, and and I like it, like where the Hugh Jackman character is like, you don't look nothing like me. How are we going to pull this one off? It's you. Like, just got like a
they really try to sell you on the idea that no, it's a double. We got to make them look like you.
Yeah, that's it. So and their trick is kind of drop down, lightning sparks. That's it. But at this point, this is where he is him and Oliver, no, Olivia is getting it on. They're getting a bit closer. She's kind of falling for him. We get with the drunk, but I do like him because he's a drunk, and he's like, I bet you this was happening. Like we've said about the drunks of the of their time. The what are they call, Sandy? The British ones. Oh, like they had a name for them. Oh,
British
like,
drunks?
Well, a lot of them. No, like it was Dumbledore. It was the original Dumbledore. I forget his name now.
You mean the Hellraisers.
The Hellraisers.
The Hellraisers.
I bet you they were all like this. Well, and then they went
they were
straight into performance.
Peter O'Toole, Dudley Moore.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me if it was something like that.
What are you doing? Action! I'm in the moon. It's like he can perform. He doesn't have to say anything. Yeah, it's is what it is. So he's got his double. And his trick is jump in. He drops down, and he catches the hat on the other side. And this is where, unfortunately, he has to take his applause under the stage, and this is a remark that Alfred gives later. But onto that, it's we get that I still need to know how he does. He's starting to get obsessed. No, he's
obsessed with knowing that trick. Yeah,
the new, what do they call it? The new. Oh, what's it called?
The new
transported man.
Transported. I was going to say teleported. Transported. Yes.
Yeah. That's it. But we get
now. They only reference it one time in the film at the end when they go to the real trick. So this trick actually bounced back and forth between the two of them in the book multiple times. So it was the transported man, the new transported man, the improved transported man, the real transported man, the exceptional transport. I mean, it just kept going back and forth and back and forth, back and forth.
Yeah. That's because he calls it the original. We only get the original.
Then they go to the original transported man. Yep.
But yeah, we get then into the future with Tesla. They're going to do the trick with his hat, and nothing happens.
I
He's
will
like,
tell
"Don't worry."
you, the description of this apparatus in the book is spot on. Oh my gosh, because I had kind of forgotten what it looked like in the film because I watched the film a while ago, read the book, and then just watched the film again last night. When I was reading the book, the description of like the highly technical, like the metal bracings around these semicircular thing, the way it's described is unbelievable. They carried it out in the film very, very precisely to how it's described in the book here.
But yeah, they're like, shut it. And I think it's like, science isn't actual science. So, like, or something, doesn't it? So, you have to come back. You have to come back. He shuttles him off.
Let me ask, can I ask a question here?
Mm.
It didn't take long for Angers to stumble upon the duplicated hats and cats.
Yeah.
How is it that Tesla didn't know this was happening, or did he know this was happening? I mean, he had to know this was happening.
Well, I think he was never. I don't think he probably left the compounds, but the other guy did, and he would have other people, and there's a lot there. So
yes,
you would expect it. So yeah,
it only took him 10 minutes to stumble on them. So that was like that was odd. That was odd.
But now we get what we kind of just skipped over is Scarlett Johansson's character has been sent by Hugh Jackman's to kind of spy on him, but she's bitter. So what she does is, I will tell you the truth that he told me to tell you the truth, but I'm going to tell you the actual truth. I fell in love with him, and he just discarded me for the obsession to actually spy over you. So yeah, it's now we kind of get that. Yeah, he's lost his spy just because of he was obsessed with Alfred. Yeah. So that's up. There we go. The original. There we go. There's one of them. Transporter Man. But yeah, he's still obsessed. He's doing it. And then we get now jumped over. Where we get this bit is where I can't remember the drunken's name. What was the
Root? Gregory Root.
Root. Yeah.
Is it Root? Is where we get then Alfred kind of telling him, "You, by the way, I had the same trick, and I've the guy had the absolute power." When they realize that, you don't want to go involved. So this is where he's he ups the wages, and then they go, well, once we try and sort something out, but literally give him what he wants, and that's it. And then we kind of get the next trick is but he doesn't come out on the time. He's like, I'm gonna wait, and I've he's playing his hand. I know without me, this trick is nothing. So it's
right.
And you also find out he's a former actor himself.
Yeah.
So he also wants the limelight, and he's a bit of a showman up there. He's laughing. He's turning it into a, whoopsie kind of thing, and he's enjoying it. So that was quite unexpected, different in the book, but also it was probably a point where Angers should have known better. Like, he should have understood that he's putting someone in the position of power, even from that moment where he says, well, I don't like being the one, under the stage, not getting the applause. He should have known better. And this is where it shows that his love of the applause and the limelight is in the way of his rational thinking.
But that's it. So they gotta go on, and this is where we get the next bit. He does the same trick, but the bed or whatever, the full cushion has been removed, and who's in his place of Root is Alfred, who's got the theater across the road, doesn't he?
Right across the street.
So he takes it and takes the Mickey, and he goes like, and then he ties up Root and drops him down. So come and see the original, and then just walks out. So again, it's building up to that. But onto this, he actually breaks his leg, or does real damage to his leg. I'm guessing for the time period, it's going to be
it's a broken leg in the book.
So yeah, and then well later on you see him with well, what we see back and forth as well. He has the limp is for him for life, isn't it? So he's never correctly healed.
Well,
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll talk about that.
But yeah, so we get the back and forth of the you sent me there, you know, and this is where the book is. She stole the book for him, but we know that they're kind of in league to get the book stolen. He smashes up his place to look like it's a robbery. He says, "Oh, did the diary go?" Yes, it did. And yeah, and then we get he's, and then we kind of get the back is like, well, I'm going to take a walk. This is kind of where we kind of get the mishap of. Is this where?
Yeah, we actually haven't spoken too much about Alfred's assistant there, whose name is slipping my mind. What was it again? Fallon. Yeah.
Fallon.
So Fallon's been a part of the movie the whole time, where he's he's the Michael Caine character for Alfred.
He was out with the shooting, wasn't he? So he was when the catching the gun.
Yeah, he was the one. Right. He was the one that kind of moved Hugh Jackman's arm up, that made it so that only 2 fingers were shot off.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so we get him, but then we get the morning scene is where they come up and he's Hugh Jackman's taken Fallon and buried him alive to find out, because the diary is got to have a cipher, and without the cipher, it's useless. But into that, he's like, I don't want to mess around with a cipher. I don't want the thing. I want to know the exact process of how you do it. So the blackmail is to write it down, and he writes Tesla, just the word Tesla. Makes sense to us, the audience, because look, that's what we've already seen. Yeah, and and then of course he gets.
But I will say the whole conversation about, what are you willing to give up? Are you willing to get your hands dirty? And as much as we hate Borden, boy, does he grab that shovel really fast. And this is a person that he loves dearly, who's been buried alive. If it had just been any old assistant, maybe he wouldn't be digging so fast. But I think this is where you see, and it makes sense later when you realize why he's digging him up, because he's not just, friend, family member, etc. He's integral to his entire persona.
Oh, I forgot. So I forgot that in the mix of that, Same gets shot, doesn't he? He gets shot in the clipped, doesn't he, in the arm? And then this is where he's like, obsession is a young man's game, so I'm out. I don't want to follow you to Colorado Springs. I'm like, no, I've had enough. So that's it. So yeah, he's gone. So this is where we get kind of the Back to the Future. You know, he was saying it, because it is of where we know he's going to Colorado Springs. In the meantime, while we got that, is we get Alfred now, is kind of having it off with Olivia, and he's flaunting that with Fallon in front of Sarah. He's liking his party lifestyle, even though she does the polite thing. You're being a bore. They don't have to be here. Look, the politest way of being, you're being a bit of an arsehole. Mm-hmm. He's being a bit of a bore. So that's it. And he's very rude. He's a bit arrogant about the whole situation. But yeah, he's loving a bit of the fame. So but that we get to see Wyatt later. But yeah, into this we get now again back to, we're jumping between the Tesla moments and then the setup of what he's reading with Tesla, with Olivia and Alfred have set up as well. So there's always this the biting bits in the story within the narration, I suppose you want to go within the 2 diaries. It's like, you think you're reading this because you didn't know, but I already knew that you were going to be reading this.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's just the continuous plot twist, and it's
Yeah.
what I like about it is that there's plot twist after plot twist, but it doesn't feel too overwhelming or too cheesy, like you're just doing it to try to create shock value. It's the mind of two magicians who work in the field of sleight of hand, smoke and mirrors, that whole thing. So it's continuously they're just trying to one up each other, even in their schemes to sabotage each other. It's not straightforward. None of that is even straightforward. Where it's just I'm going to do this. It's I'm going to send you there to spy on him. When you steal this, I'll make it look like a break-in. And then here you find out, nope, the whole time she was actually working with Alfred now because they fell in love, and kind of right out of the gate they exposed that. So when he reads that passage or that last part of the journal, that's basically Alfred telling him, I knew you were going to read this. I made her give it to you. You're 3 steps behind me, not 3 steps ahead. It's just another again, another great revelation in the storytelling. Like, oh my God, this is just so much more in depth than it even seems when they're doing the trickery in the first place. It gets a little confusing even to try to describe or talk about afterwards because it's just that layered in deception.
So we get the next deception of that they're working together, the realization, of that. But then I need to out him. I need the machine. Let's see it work. And of course, Tesla's idea it must not work with hats. So he goes and gets the cat, and even he's like, if something happens to my cat, you're in trouble, kind of thing. But of course. The cat does exactly what the hat does, and nothing happens until he walks, and it's not that far. And I think you're right.
Yeah, it's kind of right out the front door.
Yeah, and it's only because the cat kind of moans. But
I like to think that Tesla knows this, and it's part of his showmanship as an inventor and his kind of way of walking. Essentially, because the Hugh Jackman character is kind of doubting his ability to and doubting the machine. It's kind of his way to handhold him through the results and to show you like, no, this is what's going on.
So it's now obvious to us, the viewer, that it is recreating and dumping, like they've tested
clones.
Hats,
Basically clones.
And they're just literally cloning anything that comes out there, and it's transporting it such a way away. What we'll get to later. It's that. And then we jump forward into the prison, back in. Oh no, it's not the prison. This is just it's just family life, isn't it? Where we kind of get now a very sad set of Sarah. She's a bit lost in the world. Let's say that
she's drinking. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think she actually does really well in this scene because I do love.
I do too.
We haven't talked about her kind of famous or kind of major line in the movie is. In the beginning, the very beginning when they're kind of just starting their relationship, or maybe right when they find out they're pregnant, she says a line to him of, he says, "I love you" to her, and she says, "Oh, I can tell you mean it today." And she says, some days it doesn't feel like you mean it, but it makes it more special on the days that you do. And then this is kind of the inverse of that, where it's gotten so difficult in their relationship that and we just had that scene at dinner where he was awful to her. Where now it's kind of flipped to she's going through, a bit of depression and just sad emotions with the state of their marriage, where now she says it as, you do mean it today, because this is where he says, "I love you" again and all that, and kind of promises some better behavior. And she says, "You mean it today." And that's what makes it hurt all the more when on the days that you don't. I think it's actually a really good scene from her.
Yeah, she does really well in this film. I really like her performance, and kind of contrasting her to Scarlett Johansson. I don't like Scarlett Johansson's performance.
Yeah, it's a bit weak, isn't it?
The accent situation is a little sketchy there, but I think this actress comes off as so very understated and just really delivers her lines very well.
But from that we get back to having a conversation. This is with filling, isn't it? Like what's going on. But then we get Sarah. Olivia is again. It's like some days you're off, some days you're not, and he's like, "Well, no, I've got to be kind of with Sarah." But then we kind of get back to Tesla. There's been a sabotage. I wonder if this actually happened. I don't know. There might
multiple times.
Yeah,
multiple times.
Yeah. So he's he's left you a gift. That finally it's been built. So yeah, I'm not gonna like that. Can you imagine how much that shipping cost would be today to get that
Oh
from
my
Colorado
goodness
to the
gracious.
West End? Jesus,
Yeah.
the side of it. Like, but this is a bit like, and I must say, this is going to be shipped. They're going to sail. They're we're sailing over. There's no time difference in this movie. Like, he's been there for like months. So like, and then Alfred's been in the West End doing his trade for years now. Like, it's going to be probably a year. You would expect 6 months minimum.
2 years. We find out when he
years.
gets back that it was. Sorry, if that's what you were just asking.
Yeah.
I got a little distracted for a
2
second.
years.
But yes, when he gets back, I believe Scarlett Johansson's character says to Alfred, "Oh, he's back." 2 years later, she mentions the 2-year time span at some point in that portion. So I believe he's been away for about 2 years.
I must have missed that, but yeah. So we get back. It's just the things, and then this is where we finally kind of, even though we know, but we kind of the revealing of what. And I think Tesla leaves them a note, doesn't he, of like, what are you willing to sacrifice, isn't it? So yeah, he finally loses the machine, and this is where, whilst Alfred is reading it, he plays the same trick on Alfred that he played on Hugh Jackman's character of writing his name. You're reading this, like that. So it's like, ooh. But yeah, we kind of get the machine working, and this is where this guy then says he wants to buy all the notes, and yeah, he kind of gives
him the first two stages of every trick that he has: the pledge and the turn. He doesn't give him the prestige.
No, so yeah, and without them, it's worthless. But yeah, if you do it, then you got to like make sure Jess is good. Then we go back, of course, with the unraveling of the relationship between Sarah and Alfred. And this is where we get they're having an argument, and then Jess literally like that, and Fallon takes her away as they're kind of just arguing about the state of their relationship. And he's just gonna, and then we kind of get the sad moment as she's going around his studio, and and unfortunately she hangs herself. Quickly skip off that for YouTube, but yeah, it's kind
I was
of
gonna say American YouTube. Move it.
quickly. Yeah, but yeah, she ends her own life.
And it's a really sad scene too.
Yeah,
it's quick. It doesn't doesn't linger on for very long, but she's just walking through his shop where all his things are, and you can just tell like there's almost a haunting poetic nature in why she's doing it there, to say like, you chose all this over me. So it's a really haunting and sad kind of. I mean, obviously that kind of stuff's always sad, but the way they do it is a hauntingly artistic way of kind of getting the idea across of, you chose all this over me. This is what you get now. It's I hate to say well done, because it's obviously something sad, but to get that emotional impact across with it, they did it in a way that I think that was well done.
And now, we get now back to Cutter. He gets the trick that he played on the trick with Hugh Jackman's character with the king.
Yeah, the little mini card.
Mini card, yeah. And he's like, meets him at this burnt out theater, where he's like, yes, but this is where I need you, but I don't need you back a house. I don't want you back a house. I want you front house booking, getting us booked. And I need you to pull the favors in for the biggest trick I ever can. So he gets this course guy in who's like, well, you go on then. What's the trick? And he sees it. Oh, a good light show. When he disappears, but he turns up instantaneously, near enough, behind him. And he's like, yes. So here I am. And he's like, yep, I'll get you booked in. Yeah, you got to. And he says that you got to dress it up a little bit, but I can get you booked in. So this is where, and again,
where she tells him, "Oh, he's back, and he's been here. He's back after 2 years."
Yeah. So he's back, and there's a little bit of disdain between these two, because she's, I love you. like that, and he's kind of like, is this where he goes, well, I love you, but
So,
it's like that.
so this is where she's wondering why he's not more upset, or trying to tell him it's okay to be upset about Sarah, his wife.
Yeah.
And this is where he basically tells her that he never really loved Sarah.
Yeah.
And that's where she kind of disconnects from trying to help him grieve to, well, if you married her and had a child with her and you're telling me you only half loved her or whatever he says, then there's a good chance you're doing this about me with some other woman in some other restaurant. So this is kind of where she realizes, like, I may be a bad person for willingly being this guy's mistress, but the fact that he's not even upset about what happened to his wife is like, okay, this guy's not a good person. So again, maybe not the person to grandstand over the whole love triangle, but at least she has some decency to realize, okay, I know what we did was wrong, but the way he's responding now is even more wrong. And honestly, it's probably a bit of self-interest, of more so just like it disgusts her because she probably feels like she's going to do it to him too. I mean, he's going to do it to her too. It feels that way about her too. So it's probably more self-serving than it even is caring about Sarah, to be honest. But
that's it. Well, at least she gets up and leaves. At least she's got that about him. So yeah, So like, this guy, he pulls rank. You do it now. But so the show is like, well, he starts off doing the trick, doesn't he? That his wife died in. So he explains. I'm gonna do it. We don't see the trick, but he explains what's gonna happen whilst Alfred is there. Now this part of the show is the first part of the movie.
And actually, the fact that you just reminded me about his wife in this, that's another thing that happens to Scarlett Johansson's character as well, where when she's trying to tell him, when she first brings him back that notebook and is trying to tell him, like, this is enough, like, you guys just got to move on. Is this what your wife would think? He then, Hugh Jackman, again, he probably doesn't mean it in the same way. Yeah, he doesn't mean it most likely in the same way that Alfred's character says it in that scene we just saw. It's probably more of just a bit of an aggravated kind of offhand comment that you immediately, and he kind of shows the remorse for having said it physically, even though he doesn't say I shouldn't have said that. But he says immediately, I don't care about my wife. And that's when she kind of, I think at this, so
it's gone beyond that.
Yeah. And so like that, at that point, she's now realizing, okay, or at least in the scene we just saw, she's now realizing the first guy threw me out like I was nothing and told me he never cared about his wife. Now this guy's doing the same thing. I want nothing to do with these people anymore. I want, I want nothing. They're whatever they've got going on means more to them than anything else going on in their lives. So I want out of it. I actually didn't even realize that till now because I forgot he makes that. Again, Hugh Jackman's character kind of says it in more of a way of he's very angry and focused on what he's dealing with Alfred. So it almost feels like her bringing it up is a bit of an annoyance to him, and more in the sense of like how dare you say that? Of course I care about my wife, but instead of saying that, he just kind of flips off of like, I don't care about it. I don't care about her right now. I'm focused on this, and it comes off. But you see him kind of instantly have remorse for that. So I do think, obviously, and again, we'll find out more about why Alfred said that specifically. But yeah, it's two different ways that they both did the same thing. And again, not to excuse him for saying it either, because you should never say that about your wife who's passed. But it's, again, that to me is the difference between the Alfred character and the Hugh Jackman character, where you can just kind of understand the emotions going on within Hugh Jackman's mind and heart, whereas Alfred's character just seems vindictive and self-serving and just kind of like an asshole.
He just is. I think they're trying to use the Olivia character kind of as the conscience of the film, right? She has done some terrible things, but also in a moral way, where she said, I took this diary, but now I want to be honest. And hey, bringing up, why don't you feel remorse for your wife? In the book, there is no character like that, because you're hearing the story from the perspective of the current day, like now, the future, several generations removed from this relationship, but you're seeing all the other relationships generation after generation. And, the reading from the current day character is kind of the conscience of the film. you know, and his questions and reaction and places that he goes to investigate. That all serves as that conscience of the book versus her in the film, because you don't have that. You don't have that kind of third party removed character seeing the story in the film, where you do have that in the book.
Interesting.
So this is the beginning of the beginning that we saw, but more of it of the final act, I suppose you want to call it, that he's been doing.
This might be the first time is this?
Yeah.
Is this the one when Christian Bale's character comes in, or is this the first time he does it successfully in front of an audience? Because he does it one time in front of an audience, and that's kind of... No, I'm sorry. I think I'm just getting confused at the time.
I think that was for the show,
right? Because
the theater owner.
But no, because he does one... Because he has one group of people come and inspect it. I think this is the first time
he does it many times. As you can see at the end from the things that we see at the end.
He's booked out only 100 shows.
Right.
Correct. Only do 100.
But this is the first time, whether it's, it probably isn't the very first time he's done it, but this is the first time we see him do it in front of an audience, because he has a group of people come up to inspect it and do all that. And then the trick goes off fine like this. And then I believe the second time we see him do it in front of an audience, that's when Christian Bale comes in.
Yeah, and so he goes up on the second balcony, and this is where
right, because they have this discussion about we need to just let it go. Well, it's a lot of trying to find out how he does it, and then they realize we simply can't figure this one out. We got to just let it go.
But this is where he's talking to Fallon. He's like, I'm done. We've just got to let it go. That's it. So, but at this time, where we get then Cutter is starting to look on to the kind of what's behind the scenes, because he's hired blind stagehands to not say go. He goes, oh, it's quite good. You've added that to the allure of the act itself. So, but it's again. So this is where we now get
this is the second time.
Well, not second
that we're
time.
Seeing. Well, that we're seeing.
Our second time. We see is and then this is where Christopher Bale's Alfred goes up there, sneaks off, and then he goes, of course, downstairs to the murder bit that we get at the beginning. And of course, whilst he's doing the performance upstairs, we see him drop into the water container, as I'm going to call it, and then of course the lock automatically closes, and this is where he's struggling to breathe, and then Alfred tries to save him. To be honest, he tries to get him out, unsuccessful, and then this is Cutter kind of
just confirmation
identifies the body, and he goes, he must have killed him because they're, and we know that is because the locks, there are two types of locks, and the only way they couldn't have done it, because there's a little hand portal that they would know, but the lock had been changed, and this is only the way Alfred kind of gets convicted, that he would have known the fake lock to a real lock, and have it there. So he would have moved the water container into that area to drown him. So he gets convicted, and he sentences to hang by the neck until dead. By that time, we go back is where Lord. Oh, anybody gonna try it? Anybody
Lord
Caldlow.
Caldlow,
yeah.
Caldlow.
The Lord,
I think.
Yes.
Caldlow. I think that's right. They couldn't have picked an easier name. I mean, God.
Has bought all the equipment, and Cutter wants to buy the machine. He's like that, and he goes, it's already been sold to him, but on your delivery, if you want to speak to him, I can't stop you there. So it's down to you what you're going to do. But this is we get then Jess and Alfred recreate before his execution, is when he looks up, and lo and behold, he was there. Terrible shot there, but of course, he's alive. He's alive, and he's like, how well, it doesn't even ask how you do it. They just kind of have an exchange. It's like afterwards, he kind of says that the warden, I've been convicted of killing that man, and there he goes. But yeah, he's smug. I got one over to you. Yeah, you're gonna pay now. You're gonna be hung. You're gonna get hung. You're gonna get strung up. So there's no morals. It's just a bit of gloating, really, from Hugh Jackman's character at this point, isn't it? It's like that, and one more thing. I've got your daughter.
I got your kid.
And that's it.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a bit of a scene. It's like that, and then he gives him the last bit, the prestige, the last bit, and he's like, you know what? I don't care, and he rips it up and throws it down. Whilst then his last look of Jess is going away with his, I suppose, arch enemy. Let's say that. And then we get back into the lordship area. And I'm guessing at this point, Sandy, does his older brother die or something because he's inherited it? Because he's in now.
Well, because we've condensed everything in the book, right? Or in the film. During all of those performances, those 100 performances, dude is filthy rich in his own right anyway. So even though his brother had cut him off, he's filthy rich. And he's, still in good stead with his family. And so he's fine. He's totally, he's really, really rich. And in his diary, the book was focusing on the writings more as diaries than journals. So in addition to all the technical stuff, you're getting day-to-day life from the time that Angers was 9 years old when he got his first diary. He was a diarist. And one of the things he did at the end of every year, December 31st, 1872, earnings from magic, £1 and sixpence. And then like within 10 years, it was, 12,800 pounds. I now own 6 residences, et cetera, et cetera. He's become a very wealthy man. And then with his chief rival also in jail. He's it. He's the consummate entertainer. He commands, I think in the film, they even say, and here's how much you're going to charge for each ticket. And it was an outrageous price, and he filled the house every night.
What doesn't he even say, as well, that he's not the number one magician, he's the number one entertainer.
Yep.
Yeah.
Of all.
So,
and he can command any price and people will pay it. So he's filthy rich.
So, but on this we get then his first meeting with Cutter is you're alive, Gordon's alive moment. It's what you've just not destroyed the man, you've taken his daughter, because he recognizes the daughter as well, and he's got a bit Cutter's got a bit of disdain for him now. He's like, what, you're gonna kill somebody because of the knot? You're gonna get somebody accidentally, or would get somebody executed because of that. So he walks off, and this is and then we get again the moments with Fallon and Alfred. It's just kind of saying their goodbyes, really, aren't they? They're just saying, make sure this is the way we got apart. It's not the way we expected, but each to their own. So off he goes to his execution, really. Whilst we've got we got a bit of back and forth about the back the back bits, I suppose, like the backstage. And I like this bit. This when he goes past this the officer. Are you watching closely? And he just like that. It's just, I might escape, but of course, he gets hung. We're just getting now, of course, the apparatus and all that getting pushed into a storage area, I'm guessing, as well, because he doesn't really need it. So we get the hanging at the same time. Boom. And then whilst that's happening, we get the reveal of not the reveal. It's just that he turns back up, doesn't he? So he gets
Fallon is now bored.
But we don't know that at this point. He's just there. and then of course, then he shoots him. You Lord, whatever, the great, whatever name you want to give him. So the reveal is there that there was two. There's always been two.
The simplest explanation.
And this, simplest explanation. So and this is where we skipped it. So this is where cut to before this also explains whilst he's pushing the fingers is I lied about the sailor I knew that once drowned. He lied. I lied. He said it was the most.
It said it was agony, pure agony.
Yeah, agony. Drowning is actually agony. So and then this is where we kind of get the reveal. They're twins. So the simplest explanation. Yeah, Cutter was right. He's kind of using a body double, but it's
just an identical one.
Just an identical twin, and how they show it is like the fingers miss. He's got to cut off his own fingers, and it's just things. And this is where we kind of now get the explanation of the two women. They both were loved, but they were both loved by that. But because he lived the lie, the showmanship was his life. He couldn't split from that. So one didn't love the other because he loved the other, and the other one, of course, vice versa. It's a good little twist. I like that bit.
I think it's such a good one because it's kind of like we talk about all the time with movies that try to seem clever and like they've got this big twist at the end that was never there in the movie. This one has breadcrumbs all throughout the movie to show you that this was what was going on. And when you finally get a chance to see it and then rewatch it, you pick up on all those breadcrumbs. Like, wow, how did I miss that? How did I miss this? From everything. I mean, like I was referencing earlier, some days it feels like you mean it, some days it doesn't. That's because some days it's the Alfred that loves. I was going to say Rebecca, Sarah, and some days it's the Alfred that doesn't because it's not the same person. It's what was I going to say earlier? The Fallon character, understanding why because when the Fallon character is buried alive, and he gets him out, obviously. When he's at dinner, he says to Sarah, I wanted to celebrate tonight, the dinner that goes horribly wrong where he's rude to everybody. That's where he says, well, I just wanted to celebrate tonight because I almost lost something very near and dear to me. And we, as the audience, first time through, you're kind of like, I mean, I get it. It was a friend of yours, but, there's no point in the movie where it seems like Fallon is that near and dear to the Alfred character. Until you find out it's his twin brother who's been Fallon. Well, it's been each other.
They've both twin been brothers, Fallon, right?
They've both been Fallon. But in any case, when any one of them, if either version of Alfred was to lose Fallon, God, it's confusing. They would be losing their brother. Time jumps, it's like, right. So they would be losing their brother. So that's why it is such. It's just it's that aha moment of, oh my God, this movie really. It's layered and breadcrumbed throughout the entire movie. It's not something that at the end they're just like, oh, and he had a twin. No, you go back and watch, and it's there in front of you the whole time.
It's the simplest.
And it starts off as we talked about earlier with the when Rebecca. God, I keep wanting to call her by her real name, not Rebecca. When Sarah takes her nephew to the magic show, and he makes that line of, "But what happened to his brother?" And Christian Bale's character with the birds, and Christian Bale character. That's when he kind of has a genuine smile of, oh, very perceptive of you, like because he knows the trick he's playing with his own brother, and the commitment to the magician Chen, and the commitment to living the role, all the stuff. It's all there. There's nothing not there that by the end you're like, does that really make sense? I don't think so. Like, no, it's all there. It all makes perfect sense. It's really well thought out. And now this is the perfect time to circle back to what I was going to talk about earlier with the Sarah character. So when he shows up inside her apartment from having just been outside the door, it doesn't make any sense that, one, she wouldn't realize that that's a physical impossibility, but two, they play that scene as if he's just meeting Sarah for the first time. So essentially what would have had to happen was, while one brother was at the door with her, the other one was breaking into her apartment.
Yeah,
so were they both stalking her? But how did that other brother know? Oh, he's smitten with her. He wants to date her.
How would he know which apartment?
Right, like none of that makes any sense. It's like, but it's good. How would he know that his brother is becoming smitten with her and wants to date her to the point where he now knows which one? I got to go around the block.
Which one is it?
Movie
because
magic.
one went on a date and
So
the other one
I'm-
wouldn't know what the date was about.
So I'm assuming the one
It could have been a really bad date.
Well,
Like, you go, I don't want nothing to do with you. I'm here with a cup of tea.
When
Like,
they're in- when they're
that
coming
setup had to
back-
been there already. That they were planning that whole. This is what I'm going to say, and this is what I'm going to do. And there's like, it's a lie to have a date for a woman to. Yeah. It's
Okay,
a
so
bit-
maybe that's what I'm missing.
Yeah.
Was that a date? And maybe I missed it again this time. Did they go on a? I assumed that
Yeah,
was
they
them
did, 'cause he said, I'm
walking
gonna-
back after the show. Oh, so they went on a date.
Yeah, because he said like then, oh, can I take you out? So that's.
Oh, see, I
was
missed
the
that.
second
That
meeting,
okay.
Yeah.
It's still very odd. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
but at
it's
least
still very
now
odd.
I understand. At least now
Yeah,
I
the more
understand
the
that.
more you delve into that bit, you're like, ooh,
Right.
that is a bit creepy. Because
At least
was
now
it-
I can understand why
but
he
who
was
does
there.
Who does she end up with? The
Well,
guy
that's the
with
thing,
teacup
right?
or
It's
the
like
guy
if the
on
first,
date?
right? If like the one who took. So I would imagine the one who took her
I
on the
guess you
date
end up
isn't
with
the
the
one
other
who
guy.
really likes her.
Yeah.
I know, because
Don't
if you're
know.
gonna really try to win somebody over, you have to be the one on the date. So then you're like handing her off to your brother for the coffee and whatever comes next.
I
The
know,
whole thing
this
is just
gross.
odd.
It's just
That's
gross.
the
It is, because
scene
then-
doesn't work for me. I will
But
say,
even to
I
that, do
I
they
missed
when they're
the date
kissing the wife or the Scarlett Johansson, I can't remember her name, but when they're intimate, like who's having the intimate
Yeah.
moment?
Well, and that's the
because
other thing.
they're
Whose child
Fallon
is
at
it?
one point.
Whose
Fallon-
child
yeah,
is Jess?
Yes, I think it's when. Well, I think when
they
you see
don't
Fallon,
know.
The one
so
that
they both
loves-
you
have
see
to
the
treat
Fallon
her.
pick him up. I think that's
Oh.
the dad because she's having the argument.
I don't think there's any way they can know. So I
they
think they
could
both
really
have
know,
to
yeah,
love
because
her.
they
No,
both
no.
must be. They both have
No,
to be
maybe.
sleeping with her.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
that's and because you see the one in prison still have an immense amount of love and affection for the girl as if it was his daughter. So maybe they really don't know, because they would have
Yeah.
both had to have slept with Sarah at some point. So maybe they truly don't know. And that's one thing I also couldn't figure out is why wouldn't, like, it's like there's one point where they switch off. He's like, oh, Jess wants to go to the zoo. I was hoping you could take her. And again, just the kind of conflict they would have with one being in love with each of them being in love with
Yeah.
separate women, but having to share time with each woman. Why wouldn't you just split it up so that you guys always stay with the same woman? It doesn't seem that difficult to do. I don't know why they wouldn't do it that way. Like why would you opt
they're
to
taking
switch to
turns.
being
I
right?
think
But
you
like,
have to
they're
live
taking
as
turns
one
as Fallon.
person. I think
Yeah,
the
that's what they want
persona
to
is
do.
still
Yeah, I
one person,
guess
even in that
just- it's
situation
so
where it would be
odd to me that-
convenient to be two different people, right?
right. To me, it's like I just don't like if you're the one that loves Sarah and feels like it's your family, because I think in the is it at some point, I can't remember if it's the diary of Scarlett Johansson's character, but at some point there's dialogue about how on some days, it might be in the journal, on some days he loves the family, but on some days he feels trapped by it. And that's what I'm like, if the other guy feels trapped by it, why would you continue? Like, why wouldn't you just have him be Fallon on the days that you're with the family? And then on the days that he's with Scarlett Johansson, you be Fallon. That part has always confused me a little bit on why. But I guess,
why
yeah,
would
you got
you?
a point of if they have to
Yeah.
commit
That's
to,
why you can have
then they
wonderful
both have to
conversations
share.
about this film.
They both
But
have to
I'm-
share time with,
But
with
if you
both
think about it,
women.
like Sarah's the first love interest, yeah,
Mhm.
and even to the point there's been years they've got the kids got to be like 5, 6, when
Something like that, I would imagine 5 or 6.
Yeah.
I would imagine. Looks like
I'm
she's
not
aged
monoble.
to
I'm
that.
hoping you could trust your wife with this secret. By the way, here's my brother.
You would think, right?
Do not tell anybody this is part of the act. Please do not. This is like we
Unless
yeah, to
unless
have
and that's kind of what I was thinking
unless
too.
they
But
got but the thing
unless
is they
you've
don't
got
say
to the point-
they don't get assumed by it like that. They don't show that later. Is they're assumed by the act, because they say it with that Chan, is it, with the other magician with the goldfish, is like he assumes the character. That's the only other time
He
you
has
hear
to
it
be
like
the
that. Yeah.
character at all
Right.
times. Yeah.
Mm.
I think that's what it is. I think they
Yeah.
have to be one person.
And I
in-
guess in order to be one person, you'd have to spend time with the person the other one's
Yes.
involved in case you come across them, to be able to interact with them as you should, as they know you. But again, excuse me, we're seeing throughout the movie that she's already picking up on it pretty much at the beginning with her lines
Yeah.
of some days it feels like you love me, some days it doesn't. She's already picking up on the idea that even if you're committed to it, you're not doing it good enough, because some days you walk in as a totally different person, which you were, that's what you were doing. So again, it to me, it seems like taking that bit too far, where I feel like they, as the two of them, they could have just decided, listen, I'm going to be the one that spends time with Sarah, you be the one that spends time with Olivia. and there's not going to be like at that dinner, for example, that's obviously the brother who's in love with Olivia, not the brother that's in love with Rebecca. You should probably, and the one that's in love with, I keep saying Rebecca because that's her real name, Sarah. The one that's in love with Sarah is playing Fallon at the time. And it's like, okay, I get it. You have both women in the same place. So one of you has to be, you know what I mean? Like, that's tough. One of you has to be the one that's can do both. But then maybe just don't purposely invite Olivia and Fallon to dinner. Maybe just have that version of him go off with Olivia to go back to her apartment or whatever after the show. And then Fallon switches back to being Alfred as well. And then he can go to dinner with Sarah. I think there's points where I feel like they purposely avoid the logical way of making this switch or this kind of switching / compartmentalization happen, just to add a little bit of tension and drama to the movie, where it is one of my critiques of it, where I'm like, I don't know that that's as thought out as it should be if people were actually trying to hold up this charade.
That is a plot point. I think that is one Viper. At what point, not in just their lives, but what point in the movie? In what point in the movie?
So I understood it as like this is something they decided years ago.
Let's dive through the movie because I think we're going into the end of the movie.
Yeah, so let's get to the finish line.
Yeah, like literally. So he gets shot, and of course he dies. And
this is the reveal of that he's been cloning himself.
Yeah, is where we find out the ultimate sacrifice that Hugh Jackman's character is getting is he's been cloned. So we get like the back bit of like the simplest answer is the truest answer, but we kind of get that I don't get this bit with Cutty kind of then sided with Alfred.
I think he just sides with, obviously at this point he knows what as wrong as Alfred's been as well. He knows that. I guess, or at least he believes that I was going to say Tangier. That's the name of the hotel from Casino. What is
yes, you mentioned Casino.
Angier.
Angier,
it's properly pronounced. He's now viewing him as, I guess, just as bad, because now not only have you wrongfully, got a man accused of murder and then put him to his end. Now you're also going to take his daughter, and like I think it's kind of just, again, another character being like, you know what, I'm wiping my hands with the two of you. I'm going to do the one thing that I feel is right between this entire ridiculous rivalry, and that's put a father or daughter back with her father, and then I'm done with it all. That's kind of how I view his character in that moment.
So Alfred sets fire to the place. Now we see all the tanks. Afterwards, the pressure's going to blow out on tanks. There's going to be quite a good, like, let's say he's done 80 shows. Going to be a lot of
he's done 100.
A lot of him.
There actually are 100, so there's 100 of them.
And the other thing I just realized too with Michael Caine's character is when he's walking out of that place, because that's when he kind of realizes that Hugh Jackman's character has been wrong. Also, he walks out of there. He walks right past Christian Bale's character, and he gives him a little head nod. And at this point, there's no prosthetics. He's not dressed up as Fallon, who Michael Caine's character also would have recognized. So there's no prosthetics or fake mustaches, because when he goes in there, he's straight-faced Christian Bale talking to Hugh Jackman. So at that point, I think the reveal for Cutter, the reveal of Hugh Jackman's character also being kind of bad, it is where he turns on him. Because again, I think that walk by, he gives a little nod as if like, go do what you have to do. I know that, I know you know everything. Because he looks at him directly in the face and gives a little friendly nod. And Christian Bale's character is, again, he's not wearing any disguises. He's not dressed up as Fallon. Even if he was dressed up as Fallon, Michael Caine would have recognized him as Fallon, not knowing that it was a double, but still would have recognized,
but Cutter
you must be here for revenge.
But Cutter that always knew there was somewhere. He knew it. There was somewhere a double. So
and even in the idea of just trying to, if someone was to say, oh well, maybe he was dressed up as Fallon. Even if he would have recognized him as, oh, you're the guy you're probably here for revenge on him because you must hate him because the guy that you worked for is. I do believe he knew it was a double as well. I'm just kind of playing devil's advocate if somebody wanted to make the argument of what if he was dressed up as Fallon. Even that, like. Again, Michael Caine's character, if he still believed in or wanted to, be alongside of Hugh Jackman's character, he would have gone in to warn him, told him not to, some kind of, not just a little smile and head nod of like, okay, see ya. I think at that point of the reveal in the mansion, that's when Michael Caine's character, because then there's the quick little scene of him waving. I think he goes out to see the daughter. I think she's playing in the yard with some toys, and he gives her like a little wave, like a little friendly grandpa wave. I think at that point, that's when he decides, oh, I'm out on this guy too. The only thing I can do now is do right by this poor little girl who's been trapped in the middle of it, so nothing happens to her as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think he, again, going back to the beginning about, what will it take? Are you willing to get your hands dirty? He sees, oh my God, what this guy has done. He hasn't just killed a bird. There are 100, I'm doing air quotes, corpses in these tanks. In the film, there are. Now in the book, it's different. But I don't want to jump on anyone else. Does anyone have any other theory on the tanks before I share my thought on the tanks?
Well, let's go. Should we go through the numbers and then do the theories and what we believe? So
Okay.
So first of all, I'm going to end the poll. Did you know what the most common thing that a magician?
I guessed flowers because I feel like that's the easiest one.
Sandy. So one of the chats
I did
got
put
it right.
flowers. I did, but I'm sure it's something else.
So the chat that got it right, I'm guessing it was Daryl because he was in the mobile chat. It's actually a rabbit.
Is it really the stupid rabbit out of
it? Was one of the
hat?
two I knew. I just figured the flowers was
two.
more like commonly accessible and easy.
That's it. So yeah, but rabbit is the one that is mostly used. There you go. So, but Sandy, do you want to do the numbers and then we'll get to the theories and how we think? I think that's the best way to do it.
So the film was released in 2006 after the award-winning book The Prestige by Christopher Priest, which was published in 1995. Now, a lot of times when we talk about a film that was based on the film that was based on a book, it's usually been a few years later, but this was 11 years later, because this was a hard book to film. I'll go into that when I go into my review, but the fact that it took 11 years, it was really difficult to find a way to tell this story on the screen. The screenplay was written by Jonathan Nolan, Christopher Nolan, and the writer of the book, Christopher Priest. The film, we already talked about all the amazing people who starred in this film, and we also talked about the fact that this was filmed in Los Angeles and Colorado and not filmed at all, not 1 minute of this film in London, oddly, or anywhere near the areas that are being portrayed in the film. Now, as for the numbers, this film was made for a relatively modest budget of $40 million. That would be $65.9 million today. It made $109 million, so it's considered a box office success. Surprisingly, this is very surprising. It didn't win any major awards. It did get 2 Oscar nominations, one for cinematography and one for art direction. Sir Michael Caine did win the London Critics' Circle Award for acting. And I think that's probably, I could be wrong, someone will correct me. I think it's comparable to like our Drama Desk Award that we would have here, like where the critics, the snooty snooties.
Never heard of it.
Do their nominations, but no other major nominations or wins. It was the 59th top film of 2006, but this was a year that had, again, big films still. We had Pirates, Dead Man's Chest. That was an awesome movie. I love the Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, I love the original trilogy. I love quite a bit.
Cars, X-Men Last Stand, The Da Vinci Code. Oh, what a horrible film. Superman Returns. And, just conversation today, lots and lots of conversation about the significant differences between the book and the film, and that encourages people to watch and rewatch and to read and reread both the book and the film. Whoops, sorry about that. I remember that. So yeah, a successful film in terms of making money back on its investment. I think over time it's become more critically acclaimed, but not a box office smash in 2006.
Interesting.
Who wants to go first? I think Jay, you got.
I'll go first. So obviously, I love this movie. I put it on the list. I'm a huge Christopher Nolan fan. He's one of my favorite directors. I'd say probably him and David Fincher are probably my two favorites. But I'd have to really kind of sit and think on that. But just off
Wes
the cuff,
Anderson? Where's Wes
yeah,
Anderson?
I was gonna say
There you
he's
go.
up there too. So that's why it's like I'm like
we found out
probably my
I
two
don't like his
favorites. But
movie.
I'd have to kind of sit there and look at a list and kind of like, you know, jockey the positions around a bit of like, is this one 2? Is this one 3? Is this one 1? But he's of my favorite directors. I just love his movies. I think they're always very thought provoking and very interesting conceptually, where you almost always leave them kind of a little bit in awe of what you just saw. Even if you don't think it's the greatest film, there's usually a really great twist or something in there that leaves you walking out thinking, wow, that was a really interesting concept. And what does it mean? It was, you know, in Inception, was the top spinning? Was it a dream? In Interstellar, you know, there's all these different things. Whether the movies are always smash, you know, grade A++ movies from start to finish, obviously is up for debate. I don't know that there's too many movies that are, but I do think in most of his movies, you always kind of walk away with something that's just like, wow, that was really an interesting concept I wouldn't have expected in a movie. And this one falls into that for me. Obviously, it was a book, and they did an adaptation for it. It's interesting to see that the author had some part to play in that screenplay. But again, like I said earlier, I just think the story fits his style very well. Obviously, he changed it a bit, or I guess his brother and the author changed it a bit to make it fit film, which is common. We all know that, you know, every medium doesn't translate to the next one very, you know, word for word or page for page, whatever it might be. But again, I just think this fits his style. I think it's a really, really interesting story. I think it keeps you kind of on the edge of your seat in terms of what's going to happen next and what's going to be the next development in this rivalry. What's this person going to do that's more awful than the last thing the other one did to them? There's a lot of emotion in it. I think I like the way you said, Sandy, and I'm going to misquote it, but you said something about the way Rebecca Hall plays a character. Very understated, I think was the way you said it. And I think that's true of her character and her role in it. It's a very understated performance in how emotionally impactful it actually is to the movie. So that's where I think a lot of the emotion comes from, is their families. Obviously, Hugh Jackman loses his wife in the beginning of it. That kind of sets things in motion. But then there's this whole dynamic going on with the two Alfreds and their love interests, plus the family they have on top of it. His daughter continues to be a driving force for him, even as you go to the movie where he's in prison, or their daughter, I guess, because you don't really know whose daughter it is. I mean, again, that's another one of those parts of the movies that you're still trying to figure out after you watch it, because you don't know which Alfred is actually the father. So in a sense, it's almost like a Schrodinger's cat type of thing, where in a sense, they're both her father. You know, you don't really know which one it is, because you can't really, at that point, they don't have DNA testing and all that. And I don't even know how that would come back with identical twins. I'm not a DNA expert, so I don't even know if you could. Again, beyond me, don't know. And besides the point anyways, but that whole concept that, emotion, family, loss, a lot of that is in there to drive the film and drive the narrative, drive the characters. But then there's also just the idea of ego, self-absorption, too much selfishness for both the characters, pride, ego coming before the fall type of thing. There's just a lot of really, unfortunately, it's the kind of dark side of human emotions and instincts where it comes to those things of, again, just self-serving interests. Some of the shocking lines you hear when you hear these characters say they don't care about their wives who have passed away. It's the dark side of human emotions and things like that, but it's still a lot of emotion that's in the movie. And I think, honestly, just very well done in the sense of how the actors get it from page to screen. The plot twists, I think, are really great. It doesn't feel overwhelming. It doesn't feel like they're throwing you plot twist after plot twist just to try to be something clever and cool that makes people talk. It feels very organic in how it flows, especially given the line of work these two individuals are in, which is deception, smoke and mirrors, sleight of hand, all that kind of stuff. It just feels like it all fits really well together. And then there's just the basic fundamentals. The acting, I think, is really good pretty much across the board. Some better than others. Obviously, I think we'd all agree. I don't think it's Scarlett Johansson's, greatest role or greatest performance. Personally, I don't think it's an awful one or anything, but I think Rebecca Hall kind of blows her out of the water in this one, which I think is also interesting because if you look at the poster, it's Christian Bale, Hugh Jackman, and Scarlett Johansson in the middle, and I think Rebecca Hall should be in the middle. I think honestly she was better in it, but obviously she had
Yeah, that poster was
I don't
Weird.
think
Makes no
Scarlett
sense.
Johansson
Yep.
should really even
Yeah.
be on the poster. But again, she's got a big name. I can't remember how big it was at the time, but whatever, a higher billing, I guess, on the sheet there. So she got into it. But I do think Rebecca Hall does a good job, and I think she does a better job than Scarlett in it. But I don't think Scarlett does a bad job in general. I think she does fine. But Michael Caine, Hugh Jackman, I think is great in it. Christian Bale, I even think, the duality of playing a character who's two different people, I think comes off really well. The tricks all look, it's fun to see. Who doesn't think magic's fun? Even if you think it's nerdy, it is still fun to be wowed and amazed and wondered by stuff like that. So you see kind of that peek behind the curtain on potentially how they might have done. Again, I don't know the historical accuracy, but the peek behind the curtain on how they might have pulled off some tricks and some things like that. The doubles, the trap doors, that crazy pigeon cage mechanism that he was wearing. Even the kind of grim brutality of the original tricks with the canaries. That's something I never thought of, because in my time of growing up watching magic, I would imagine that stuff, the careless, harm that they would use on little animals like that, I would imagine that was already wiped out of magic by the time I was a kid watching people do magic tricks. I can't imagine that with animal cruelty laws, that stuff was still allowed. So it's interesting to see, back then that was probably allowed because they probably didn't really care too much about a canary or things like that. Or maybe people just weren't aware of how they were doing the tricks enough to enforce rules to say, dude, you guys can't just be squashing canaries for a magic act. Like, that's not cool. So just getting that peek behind the scene a little bit is always kind of interesting when it comes to magic to me. Again, even the grim version of that is interesting, because then it kind of gives you perspective of like, oh yeah, again, it was a different time. They would have done things differently. So that little kind of layer to it, I think, is always interesting about this movie. But just in general, yeah, I think it's just well done. Cinematography is great. Some stuff is great. A lot of it is just really good to adequate to where you're not thinking like, "Ooh, that was a weird shot or a weird camera angle." I wouldn't say it's stand out great or anything, but it is good. It's really high quality, I think, is probably the way I would put it. So for me, I really like this movie. I recommend it. I give it a solid 8. That might be my Christopher Nolan bias. Again, I'm a big fan of his, so that might be my bias on him, but I give it an 8. I really enjoy this movie. I recommend it. I recommend that you watch it multiple times. It doesn't have to be back to back. It doesn't have to be one day after the other, but I do recommend you give it another watch, just so you can then see, now that you know the plot twists and you know the secrets and you know essentially how the sausage is made, now you can go and see kind of all the breadcrumbs that were there. Because again, I do think that's something that's important about this movie too, is when movies try to pull some big plot twist or some big reveal or something that's like, silly, because nothing in the movie ever got you to believe, like nothing in the movie ever led you to that point. And it was like they just kind of pulled it out of thin air to write an ending. Those movies suck. They're not clever. They're not fun to watch, in my opinion. And they just kind of leave you a little bit aggravated. Like, dude, that was so stupid. That you did
Are you
nothing
talking
you
about
put
the
in.
Glass Onion?
I haven't seen that one, so I can't speak to it.
It's
But
one
I
of those.
have heard it does that.
And
that's kind of the stuff where
Scooby-Doo
you're like,
ending.
yeah, and that's where it's like, I mean, honestly, Scooby-Doo even leaves better breadcrumbs, I think, than I've heard that movie does. But so I think when you get to go back and watch this one, you can appreciate it for the fact that it leads you there the whole time. You just don't know that you're being led there until you're there and you get that aha kind of moment. So then when you go back and watch it, you can really appreciate that kind of stuff. Like Fallon never speaks the whole movie, because if he did, unless they could really nail down some different voice for Fallon that they could both do, if he ever did, he'd be recognized as his brother. So it's the little things like that like, oh, yeah, interesting. Okay, that was really good. So I recommend it. I love this movie. Obviously, I put it on the list. But yeah, check it out. If you've seen this stream today, you've probably already seen it. And if you haven't, still recommend it. And I recommend that you recommend it to others too.
There we go. Well said. Sandy, you want to go? Because I know you got a hard out.
I do. Well, thank you. I can go a little bit longer, but so first I want to talk about the ending of the film that is not book dependent. And it is something, if you watch the film a few times and you really, really think about the ending and what we find in those tanks. In the book, the initial distress to the family of Angers is not the death of his wife. It is a miscarriage that is forced because of a scuffle between Borden and Angers, and his wife falls and hits her head and then eventually loses their child. So you don't have that drowning at in the book. So the film created that as the triggering element, as what I think is a really great bookend to what you discover at the end, because in reality, quote, air quote, reality, Angers is not drowning a clone every night. He's drowning himself every night. So he is going through what his wife went through 100 times. And he's going through that agony 100 times, and he dies. And what's left is a clone. So you got to kind of wrap your head around the fact that he's dead the first time he does the trick, because the original person on the stage falls through the floor. So,
well, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. That's actually something I another one of like the crazy kind of not Nolan, but one of those mind bending kind of things I think you think about afterwards. It's another perfect example of it. And I think it happens almost instantly, actually, because when he does that first attempted clone, because when he's telling Christian Bale's character about how it works, he does that first attempt at one. And as the clone grabs the weapon, I'm trying to use YouTube friendly words, grabs the weapon to fire at him, you see the other person, the other version of him that's across the room. He kind of sticks his hand out and says, "Wait, I'm the real," and then he gets shot. So I think right out of the gate, the original one was killed, and the clones were what was now keeping things going.
And
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, but this is the great part of the conversation, right? Is, he's the one on stage. The current him is on stage, whether it's original Angers or the next clone or number 5 or number 27. The original him is on the stage, and the original him knows what's going to happen to him. He knows he's going to drown in a horrible way. And in a way, maybe that's like some kind of personal penance to his wife or something, that he's putting himself through this, and he doesn't stop. And the next one knows what's going to happen. And he goes through with it, and they go through it 100 times.
And you notice he gets a little bit more somber with his whole presentation as he's doing that trick. It's a lot more dulled down and not as showman. It's a little bit more depressed, and it's likely because of that.
It is. And so, have both of you read Harry Potter?
Yes.
Nope.
So a little bit of this then got me to think about the whole Horcrux thing. And what where's the soul? Does the clone have a soul, or have you split your soul, or have you copied your soul? Is there any bit of a soul left in a clone? That is kind of sort of not referenced in the book, but I think you can pull more out of it, out of that conversation in the book, because the book spans generations. So you're getting elements of both twins and clones through 4 generations in the book, and a pitched rivalry and opportunities along the way for the families to come together and bury the rivalry, right? And as it says in the book, every time there's one of these, they think, well, all prior attempts have failed, but we're going to do it this time. And they bring the families together, and they bring the children, and some of them are twins, and some of them are this and that, and they bring it together, and it ends in a massive feud and fight, and someone is almost always ended. in every time these families try to come together, it's just such a hard thing that, again, in the book, it starts small and then just elevates and escalates to these horrible things. So those were kind of the, that whole ending, and the thought of, we could probably talk for days on what those clones are, or those aren't clones, those are the real person, the next person's the clone. So then the question is, well, what is the Angers that is shot? And is there someone left?
That's always what I wondered too. Is there another clone he has somewhere as a contingency?
In the book, it's quite clear that there are contingencies spanning the 4 generations.
Interesting.
And that's kind of I won't spoil. Read the book. So just to wrap everything up, there are there are a lot of articles online comparing the book to the film and deep discussions, and I've read a bunch of them. I think all of them are wrong to some extent. I find that in every review there's at least something that I firmly disagree with, but that's okay, because I think that shows the quality of this work. Um, Even there was an EFAP at one point in time. It was not about the Prestige, but I remember Mahler and the Critical Drinker talking about the Prestige, and I think Mahler came out on, like, it's his favorite movie ever.
Oh, really?
It's like one of the best made films ever because it makes him think and think and think and think, if I'm
That's
quoting
why I
that
love it too.
correctly. But again, I think that's a mark of how interesting and intriguing both the film and the book are. If you can have all this debate and still, no matter how much you read about it, you can find something new and find something to disagree with. There are a lot of challenges with bringing the actual book to film. So I have to think, I think Nolan did the best he could, because jumping, even the time jumps you see in this film are contained to what, 40, 50 years, right? Maybe less. The time jumps you would need to cover the book would be over 100 years. So beginning in 1870 to 1990, right? You would have to do, and that would just pretty much be impossible. I think what Nolan did makes sense. The changes to the story are pretty significant, but that's not bad. It leaves out some of the more esoteric element, like really picky little elements. But that key theme to me of the magician as an entertainer versus the magician as a swindler is where, if you had that in the film, you might have at least a little bit of sympathy for Borden, because I agree with you, Jay. There's nothing I liked about Borden in the whole film from minute one.
Even by the end, you're kind of like, I know Hugh Jackman's character also kind of sucked by the end of this, but I hate that you won too. Like, I wish you both just lost. But you really still can't root for him by the end of it. The only thing you can root for, honestly, by the end is like, well, at least a little girl got her dad back. Like, that's one good thing. But outside of that, you kind of, in that moment, you're almost just like, oh, I wish Michael Caine's character would show up and take out the Christian Bale character when he's having the face-off with Hugh Jackman. Like, take him out too, because they both, it's kind of one of those movies where, and I think Scarlett Johansson even says this at one point, they both deserve each other. It's one of those movies where they're both kind of, by the end of it, crappy people who kind of deserve what you know.
Yeah, at the end they should knock each other out, you know?
Yeah.
Like, you know, you can think about so many comparisons in history, but I think if we had that beginning element of Borden trying to be the good guy to expose a swindler, then that might, you know, that
could
might
have evened it out a little bit.
Evened it out at least at the start.
Yeah.
But then there's also the book also has a religious element to it, which brings a morality to it, and the morality which is missing from the film. And I think the Scarlett Johansson character is trying to be that morality, that conscience. In the book, it comes from a real deep question about, well, what started this whole feud of Borden disrupting a fake seance. Well, all seances are fake. Disrupting a seance for all the right reasons, when later you find out that seance brought comfort to a grieving family, and how, you know, it's just complicated. These issues are complicated. But overlooking that as an omission, I think the film is exceptional. I love the story. I think the cinematography and most of the action is really good. I think Hugh Jackman and Michael Caine are nearly flawless. I think Michael Caine is quite understated, and I think this is one of those films where you really do see the progression of Michael Caine as an actor, because when we go back to Zulu and The Italian Job, and we've got slightly over the top, full of himself Michael Caine, to this very, very, you know, calm, muted performance, I absolutely think it was flawless. I also think, kind of balancing that against the bravado of the two magicians is a really good thing. It helps to balance out, the tone and the energy. I think Christian Bale is good, but that accent, is that his real? I don't know if that's his.
I meant to look it up after this.
Uh,
Where is
I'm
he
gonna speak
from?
on
I
that.
forget.
I'll speak
He is
on that.
British.
He's British, right? Okay.
I'll
I always
speak on
forget.
that. I'll speak
Well,
on
it's
that.
funny because when I was watching it too, Sandy, I'm like, I'm pretty sure he's British, but sometimes it
is.
seems like he does a bad British accent, and I
Whereas
couldn't
Hugh
fathom it. But then
Jackman does a
Mhm,
great American and British
does.
accent.
He
I think
does.
Hugh Jackman does a ton of accents well, and French. My God, he did
Yeah.
Jean Valjean in Les Mis.
That's something I've noticed with Christian Bale before too. I'm like, you're English. How are you so bad at doing English accents? But then I'm like, well, sometimes Matt Damon and Mark Wahlberg and Ben Affleck do a really awful Boston accent. So I'm like, all right, maybe just overdoing it because the director wants you to make it sound more like people thinks it sounds. I always find it so weird when he does some of his accents because I think he does a good American one. When he plays Bruce Wayne, I think he does a perfectly fine American accent. I just
He's
sometimes
Welsh.
it's
Oh,
just
excuse
it's
me. He's not.
oh,
He's
oh
he's not
okay.
English. He's Welsh. Careful,
Well,
careful.
sometimes I'm like, man, the accent sounds so weird from a region that I would have imagined you'd be able to do the accents fairly well. But I don't know. I guess I can't really do a Southern accent and a Southern American accent. So, well, Southern United States accent.
Yeah.
So fair enough. I mean, just because you're from somewhere doesn't mean you can do every accent within the region.
I don't think it's that bad. It kind
No,
of
yeah.
like when they're both together, and Hugh Jackman to me is such a good actor. Christian Bale is also such a good actor, but
Mhm.
in this case, I just and also you had a more disliked character. But I actually think Scarlett Johansson is the weakest of the bunch in this
Mhm.
film. Um, and especially compared to Sarah, I agree with you, Jay, that that now I know what's her real name? Now you were
Rebecca
saying
Hall.
Rebecca Hall really
we
did
had it
us.
10 times when Jay.
The names. This was probably our worst episode for names. I don't think any of us got anything
but
right.
it was, hey, as long as I didn't call Cutter Alfred as well, that it only happened once or twice. But I think her performance was kind of weak. Overall, I give the film a 7.5, and that's a really strong recommend. I keep adding books to my reread list. I can retire from my job in 9.5 years, and so I probably won't. I'll probably work for like 15.5 years. At some point, I'm going to reread this book. I need to reread the book. It did remind me. You mentioned, those breadcrumbs that are good breadcrumbs.
Mhm.
It reminds me of like an Agatha Christie,
Mhm.
where you read it and there's a lot of misdirection, but you read it again and you know exactly why the ending is the ending, versus some of those films that are just terrible and they tell you an ending like The Glass Onion and all that garbage. They tell you the ending and you watch it again and there were no clues there.
Mhm.
They're just telling you everything that happened off screen, which is stupid. But yeah, 7.5 for me. Super recommend, and a great recommendation, Jay.
Oh, good.
James,
I do enjoy it.
over
Yeah.
to you.
I'm going to do this in 2 points. I'm going to do it as somebody who watched it for the second time, and then from Jade who watched it for the first time.
Oh,
'Cause I thought,
awesome.
Cool.
you're gonna like this, and it's so things. Now I'm gonna go by the accent. That is Christian Bale's accent. Though he's Welsh,
That's his regular accent?
That is his accent.
Oh,
God,
okay.
is that is
Okay.
him.
I just feel like it's a little
down
over
to
the
a T.
top on
That's
this
how he
one.
speaks. Is because they travelled a lot, his family, but they mostly from the East London home
okay.
counties. So he's kind of got
Interesting.
that kind of twang to him. He's the only one who is doing a correct accent. Everybody else can go and sod themselves. It's horrid. For an English person, it's horrid.
Even Michael
I'm gonna go
Caine?
for this. No, Michael Caine's doing Michael Caine.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say, isn't
Like,
that just his?
you
Isn't that
just
just
gotta
his
forgive-
accent too?
You just gotta go. Michael Caine is just doing Michael Caine when he wants to. He just rocks up, doesn't he? Goes.
So you didn't
What do you
like
want?
Rebecca?
Because I'm Michael Caine. I'm doing Michael Caine. He's as you said, like Sandy. He's dulled down the softness because he's probably around different people. But he's just doing Michael Caine. God bless him. He's just doing Michael Caine, isn't he? So that Scarlett Johansson. I don't know what she was trying to do
I
with the
don't know
accent.
what.
I think
I
just
have
the
no idea.
just the like your standard any regular
Yeah, but
person
it's
trying to
weird.
do
Yeah,
an
but it's-
English accent.
It's that
It
kind
didn't
of
sound great.
You know, like that. I'm trying to do that neutral one, but then try and give it a little bit of English twang, and it's horrid. It's horrid. David Bowie. I'm gonna have to say that I don't know what he's trying to do accent wise. He's just there.
That's actually a good point. I forgot about his.
Yeah, like
well, I would even argue
Andy
that
Sykes
Andy
is,
Serkis.
actually Andy Sykes
yeah.
Andy Sykes is doing his actual own voice.
I
again,
thought his
Rebecca
accent was
Hall
trying to be a
is-
little too New York. Honestly,
Yeah,
it didn't
Rebecca
sound great to
Hall-
me.
Rebecca Hall is great. I think she's one of the outstanding like performance actors in this. Hugh Jackman, he's a lord. What is that accent then? It's neutral.
Well, he's
It's
American,
not
though.
Australian. It's not American. It's
Oh,
not
see,
British.
I thought it was solid American.
Oh, yeah, but
For
he's
like
supposed to be a
that
lord.
era, fancy American.
Yeah, but he's
I
supposed
thought
to
it
be a
was
lord.
solid.
So where's his posh
He's
English
supposed
accent?
to be British. Yeah,
He's supposed to be British. He's not supposed
Well,
to be
is the-
American.
Well,
He's a lord. He's a
that,
lord.
That I would agree with, but in the
He's a
movie
lord,
they
he's a
have
lord, he's
is
a
because at some point he tells him like, "Have fun going back to your home, back to America." So he's definitely American born in the movie. I get what you mean. If he was a lord, you know, he would have. But in the movie, I believe they reference him as American born. I could be wrong, but I'm almost positive at
No,
one
he's
point when
not
he goes
American
back.
born.
This is what
He's
Jay
Oh, I
picks
could
up
have.
on.
He's been
His
to America.
accent, watch it again. It switches.
Yes, he does. When he becomes Caldwell or whatever the name is, it does go back to trying to do an English accent.
It's a bit disjointed.
I might have missed something then because I could have sworn at some point he says something about going back home, referencing the trip back to America.
But I didn't expect like going, just bugger off kind of moment like that. But
Okay,
apart
so
from
I
that,
might have
I
misunderstood
don't
that.
like Christian Bale's accent, like his real accent. I think it's not a film accent. I think if he's doing you're in a Cockney kind of a geezer kind of moment, I think he settles into that when he was younger, when he was doing it in there are ways it kind of works, like what's that one with Matthew McConaughey with the dragons, when he's supposed to be that kind of I'm from down south, that's it. It's not right for this part. It's completely out of the era. I'm gonna say it, the period clothing is awful. Absolutely, what are they trying to do? Because you're thinking it's 1901 because of Tesla, but that's Victorian. So you're going into the end of Victorian, but then you're not giving me a time scale to give me into Edwardian, and you've not given me that. And I said this about like earlier. There's no time reference, so I'm looking at Edwardian, but you're giving me but because of the time, you're giving me Victorian. So what is going on there? Because one, you've got great events that are happening. One is Victoria's funeral, like that. Okay, you ignore that. You're coming off that pit too. But literally, give me a sense of adjustment into time, because it feels like the beginning of the movie is 1880. And then the end of it is supposed to be 1910, just like that kind of period. But there's no strings to that attachment at all. It just feels like it's over a couple of years. But
So
it's
the
blatantly
best,
not, because of the jazz is getting.
I was
older,
going to
6
say,
years.
the best we can say is like 5-6 years, maybe add a year or two before they have the baby.
Yeah.
7 years, maybe.
So
I'm
I'm going that because the filming and the liking, the lighting and all that, it feels good. It's just some bits when you're trying to do England like that, and it is England because it's supposed to be the West End, and then of course you got Colorado bits, so you can't fault. I think it looks good.
Yeah,
the London bits, and like it doesn't feel like the West End. It felt, especially I think Jay said, you said it earlier. Oh, they've just done it on a, like they've just gone outside.
Yes, like a
really
set or
the rest of it. Yeah. So I can forgive that. Now the next bit is we're gonna have to go the cloning. I like Viper's bit here, because you could understand this bit. How does Star Trek? It is a Star Trek teleporter thing, because your brain goes a bit. Mine anyway did, and so did Jade. As we know, cloning today, Dolly the sheep. You don't have the memories of the person before you.
You wouldn't have the clothing of the person before you either. The clothing comes along
there you
too.
go.
There you go.
So, but
you got to stretch your brain on that one with clothing.
So you stretch your brain on that, and you forgive a little bit. Okay, movie magic. Okay, but then there are flaws, because when we first meet, this is where we get into the interesting conversations. Where we meet Alfred, and he says, "I've got the greatest trick." Yeah. Yeah, and then there's subclause, and if you watch it again, you go, that's the point when he says, "I've got the greatest trick," because he's got a twin, so he's doing that kind of transport of man. That's what he's going to do. Why then does he send him, Hugh Jackman's character, to Tesla when he buries? Why Tesla? Why has he got that introduction to Tesla?
So
Because
the Tesla,
or this is sorry,
no, go ahead.
This is the thing, or. Did he go to Tesla and it's not his twin, it is a clone? But he's had him for so long, he keeps him as a brother.
Oh,
because that's the
an
only
interesting
interesting
concept.
thing.
I didn't think
Because
of that.
he's poor at the time he goes. He's poor at the time when he goes there. So that maybe like Tesla did it as as a.
I'm willing to be
I
a
don't need
test
the
subject.
funding. Yeah, I do. Ooh, I don't need the funding. Later on, then Hugh Jackman gets the funding. This is all Jade, by the way. Jade as well. Theory.
That's an interesting concept. I hadn't thought of that.
So that's the thing. So why did he send him to Tesla? Because did he have a clone already? Because it was his brother, the twin, or did he just do it as a?
I just thought misdirection.
Misdirection, but then misdirection is then Tesla for somehow inadvertently, as he said, "Oh, it's not a direct science," accidentally finds out how to do cloning.
I will say the book is super clear about their lives.
Okay.
So the book is super clear that they are twins because it goes
Okay,
Then
fair
my
enough.
theory
way
is
back.
out the window.
I like.
Right.
Is that your theory or Jay's?
But-
I like that theory. That's honestly
but
really
I
good.
like
Yeah,
the
because
theory.
it doesn't
Yeah.
make sense.
I really
He
like
went-
that one.
But
It's
that's
a
the
good
theory. Because he didn't.
conversation.
Why did he then go to Tesla? And then this is where it phrased about. Okay, the hats. What we see at the beginning. What I think the beginning of the movie with the hat spoils the movie because Jade got it really, really quick. Never seen the movie before and got it.
Oh,
I was
really?
like, and she was like, "This has happened. This has happened." I was like, literally, I was like, "You don't watch the movie." Like one time I was just turn it off because she
Might as well stop now.
got it all out. She like literally, I was like,
very
"Oh, you
perceptive.
figured it out already. Ironed it all out. Like even the subplots, she ironed it all out." But it was the point where this was her biggest. This was her. Haha, you're welcome. Yeah, this was her biggest flaw in the cloning bit. Okay, so the hats are how many meters outside? Roughly. Gone. Or whatever. Feet. Yards.
I
Oh, I don't know. What?
50 yards?
20?
50
Yes, yeah, call it
20
whatever.
yards, 50,
Call it
20,
whatever.
Not
let's say
that
20
far
yards.
away. You should have seen.
Yep. Okay, so they're north, whatever. Let's say they're northeast from the location. Okay, and they boom, 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 boom there. When he recreates it, how does he know where it's going to recreate exactly? Because the first time he does it, he's behind the guy, and the second time he does it, he's up there. But the first time we see it happen is when he gets the weapon out. He's literally, 4 meters in front of him?
I just assume that they don't know where it's it's going to be somewhere in the vicinity, somewhere nearby, and he's just going to come out to wherever the nearest.
You could be,
like
but
that
you could have done the
balcony, I
magic
don't
trick
think
and be
it's
stuck in the
planned.
toilet.
Yeah, and then I think you got to drag out
Or
of
in
there
the
as fast
wall.
as you can to get to a place
Inside
where
the
you
wall.
reveal yourself.
Yeah.
It's border problems. Yeah.
No, I
Yeah,
assume
so-
I took it as they don't necessarily. He doesn't necessarily know where. Like I don't think coming out on the balcony was. I know I'm going to teleport to that balcony. That's where I'm coming out because you even see the spotlight struggle to find him. So I think he just knows I'm going to pop out somewhere here, and wherever that is, I got to get to the nearest opening where the audience can see me again. If it's the balcony, if it's the back entrance or exit door, I think he'll just pop up wherever. I think within some relativity, he knows. Okay, I'm going to be in this building, so I got to move fast. I hope I'm not in the basement because I got to move. I hope I don't dump I hope there's not two of us in the tank because I really got to hope I pop out somewhere else.
No.
That's just
Yeah,
my
and I
guess
think
of it.
these are all great questions. And I think it's like neither the book nor the film are trying to be a work of science fiction where we would expect a lot. Like this isn't Project Hail Mary where we want this really grounded in science. I think there's just enough to be okay.
Yeah, but
And-
I say I just not plausible that Tesla would have
But
just.
you're a sci-fi person.
Yeah, but I can't understand then like Tesla would just go boop, and he would just be there, and then Tesla would have the exact promise of a machine to do with that. Where was this other person? It was just a bit vague. So
I see what you
that's
mean,
it.
like
And
the
then
coincidental nature of,
yeah, it
he
was just a
happens to
bit
be
of
working
like
on a
a
cloning teleporter machine. I
yeah, it was
get
just
you.
an easy coincidence that the one thing you wanted to do, the teleporter man, this guy
Happens to
can
be what
actually
he's been
do.
working on. Right.
Yeah,
Fair
was
enough.
yeah, and then yeah, but then it's not
It's a
exact
weak
science, but
part
the
of the
work.
story.
Yeah,
It is,
that's
but
it's a fair critique for sure.
But that's it. But yeah, everybody else, yeah, it's fine. I just think it's now. This is me and Jade. I'm gonna have to say Jade agree with me. So I mean, it's just where a movie's isn't. It's trying to be clever, but when it's not, and I mean it's not being like clever, overly clever. You know, and trying to trick the audience and then just come out with yo, look, it's there. It was just a lot of it. This is like the second time. A lot of it, I was like, that would have been a bit obvious, and then and having somebody to watch it the first time and get that as well. Was quite actually funny. It's like, oh, I got that same point when I first watched it. So for me, it was a bit of a letdown. I was expecting more because of people up in the movie a little bit more. I don't dislike the movie. I recommend it, but I give it a good score. And I say that because Sandy does this sometimes. I give it a 6. I give it a firm 6.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's a movie because it's one of those ones, you know, when you get a movie where when you even rewatch it, you like the surprise, even though you've seen the surprise. This one is because it's there at the start, and I think the hat thing at the start really lets it down, because then you just kind of like, and then him just saying, oh, like if you, how can I explain this? The best way to explain it, if you catch on the subtle wording of certain phrases, you get the movie. And unfortunately, that's the thing. So I like it. I recommend it. I think it is a good little twist. It's one I recommend, but it's not one I'm gonna go back searching for. Yeah, it's not one I go, ooh, you know, I really want to watch that. Yeah, it's a bit of a miss, but I like it. It's not a
Fair
wow
enough.
moment. I get that, but yeah, it's the little flaws in this with the aging, the accents, the how did that happen? You know, like where did the money, like that? It's just the thing, the time gaps. It just brings it down for me, because there's like, you needed certain little bit of information to fill holes, because the what you're trying to do is obvious, but the overall structure around it is just a little bit missing for me. So that's it. And I'm really disappointed in like kind of how they got Sarah. I think Sarah needed more script time than Scarlett Johansson's
I would agree there
character.
too. Yeah, I would agree there.
To kind of, when it happened, you are annoyed that she ends her life like that. I think having that moment, because it needed to have that kind of you being sad, to you to be pissed off with Alfred's character. But you're not. And it ends up, and I think we both, it's one of those movies that we've picked again. I don't like the two main characters. Like that. I just don't like them.
We tend to pick movies like that where we actually hate the characters in them.
and you're not intended
we
to.
enjoy the
That's
movies.
the thing. You're not supposed to like them. They're
so,
just awful consumed people. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just one of those where I'm like, I want to like you. And that's it. You go, should I be liking Alfred or should I be liking you, character? And then you kind of go, but I don't like Alfred because he killed the wife. And then you're like, you're switching kind of in your mental head, kind of like, am I supposed to be rooting for everybody at this point? And then you just give
or
up
just
and go,
nobody.
You know what? I just don't like him even like that. So that is problematic. But if you had that moment of sadness with Sarah, it would have made you kind of pissed off more with Alfred. But then it would have relayed than having the moment when the reveal happens is, this is why I'm doing it. This is why I'm doing it. So yeah, you kind of got the wrong man kind of moment. But yeah.
And see, the book gives it away too, not with hats, but the person today, the contemporary who's now in possession of the diaries, starts reading the diaries, but he then starts talking just off the cuff about something like, you know, every once in a while I get a feeling like I have a twin out there. I mean, and he does it from the very beginning. Like he's always getting this feeling that he's got a long lost twin and he's adopted. So he knows there's a twin out there, and it's all about him, you know, a little bit about him. And because you're reading a book called The Prestige, you know there's going to be something about a double, a twin, you know, somewhere in the story. So they give it away right away in the book as well.
And I do have slight clarification on the accent of Hugh Jackman. So I just Googled it real quick. It says, in Christopher Nolan's adaptation of The Prestige, the character Robert Angier presents himself as American, but is actually part of his performance. In the finale, it's revealed that Angier is actually British. He's a member of the aristocracy, whose real name is Lord Cadlow. But essentially the version of him we see throughout the movie is his act playing that he's an American. Yeah, so he's playing. So that's why they do say at some point, oh, he's going back home in terms of his Colorado trip, because they believe that he's American, even though he really is the English lord the whole time. Well, so no, well, for the record, I just looked it up to clarify because I got it in the movie. I did catch it when they made that reference to him going back home. That's when I realized, and I could tell he was doing an American accent. I'm like, that's definitely not an English accent. It sounds a little bit like a snooty kind of rich person American accent. And then when he switches to that, kind of posh attempt at an accent, when he reveals himself as Lord Caldwell or whatever the hell it is.
Caldlow.
Caldlow.
I know, we're just going to call him Caldwell. It's easier.
That's when it all clicked of like, oh, so that's what he really is. That entire persona of Angier was entirely made up. And he made it up to, again, dedicate himself to that act because I guess being a magician probably didn't jive too well with his aristocrat family in England. So he creates this whole persona to distance himself from that and become, oh, I'm just this American magician coming over from America. So that's why he's got the two. Again, I would also agree. I think his American accent, well, I don't even know if you like the American accent, Stasis, but I would say his American accent's better than that Lord type of accent that he tries to do later on.
Yeah, it's kind of that. It's not great like that mid-Atlantic accent, as they call it, but it's just, it's there.
It just sounds like he's trying to do kind of a rich, snooty, upper-class American accent versus like his Wolverine.
You need to get a good New York Eastern. It's just like, it's not, it's just.
In the 1800s.
Well, when was the transatlantic? No, that would have been later on.
It would have been a different accent. So in the 1800s, the quote mid-Atlantic accent would have been much more British, right? Because or ethnic.
Because then you
were Irish or German. Yep. You would have Irish or German or would have
spoken then.
I have heard. So funny enough, I heard this theory from someone recently, and I've been meaning to look into it. This idea of kind of accent dumping, where I forget what that's kind of the dumb term that I gave it, but the idea of like, so when the colonies were set up here, the accent was kind of left with us, and then when you guys went back, the accent became more posh. So there's a theory that my Boston accent is actually probably more true to what an English accent used to be versus the one that you guys have now. I need to look into it. I've just heard it tossed around. But the idea of like you essentially kind of dropped off the accent, went back and kind of improved it to what you guys wanted it to be. So that's why it sounds so different. But I have heard that theory and I do hear some similarities in my accent, in the English accent, in terms of how you pronounce the I's and things like that. Yours sounds a bit more fancy, honestly. I'll admit it. The way you kind of pronounce your R's and things like that. But there is a little bit of that kind of like that AH sound to your guys as well, I've noticed.
Well, let me drop you off in Boston, Lincolnshire, where you come from, and see what happens.
Again, that whole thing could be total bullcrap. I haven't looked into it. I had heard it and kind of briefly looked into it to see if there's any legitimacy to it. But there is that idea of essentially dropping off an accent somewhere when you colonize a place or something like that, and then that place tends to kind of keep. Again, I'm not saying that it would sound anything exactly like it, but there's the idea that it might have more similarities to what English accents sounded like back then versus how they've evolved now.
Can you explain where is Fargo set? Can you explain that accent?
Oh God, I have no idea.
Yeah, you betcha.
I have no idea how to explain that accent.
Fargo. You betcha.
Southern. I don't know how to explain that.
Packers. Go Packers.
Is it Missouri? No, not Missouri.
So
no.
Fargo is
South Dakota, North Dakota. There's part in South Dakota, there's part in North Dakota, and what's the other place? Minnesota. and then they're in
that's it.
Minnesota.
Yeah. Vikings,
So
isn't it?
yeah, it's a lot of
Okay, that makes sense.
the Scandinavians and the Germans went that way, and I think it's also
It's
like
wang at the end.
it's a
It's always
mix
a
of
question.
accents. They come together, and hey, you're gonna finish that burger there, Mel. And I love that film, and I love Frances McDormand in that film. And hey, Wade, this is
That's how
my
you do an
deal,
Australian accent.
Wade.
Everybody says like it's a question. Everybody says like how you do an Australian accent is you always end it with a question.
With a question.
That's how you do it. Yeah, just a
Canadian's a bit like that as well.
Yeah.
Kind of that that uplifting
G'day,
kind
mate.
of like
My name's James.
yeah, like
Is
that
it?
upward
Yeah, my name's
upward
James.
trajectory on the tone. Yeah,
This is Film Club.
When
will
Fargo
do
comes
more
up on the
research.
wheel, I will adopt the accent when
Oh my
Fargo
God.
comes on
If
the
you
wheel.
do
I
the
can.
whole thing, that'd
I
be
think I
great.
can quote that entire
Oh,
film.
we have to have a goal. If you do that,
This
we're
is
gonna have
my
to have a goal.
deal,
That'd be
Wade.
great.
This is my deal, Wade.
I will do more research on the Boston accent history because I am curious if there's anything to that theory or idea of the
Gotta
kind
be a
of
lot of Irish
the
in
accent
there.
dumping.
Yeah, I was
thing.
gonna say there's
Well,
gotta be a
because
lot
that's the
of
other thing
Irish.
too is obviously this accent has evolved as well. Like just because England obviously went back and developed their accent or furthered it into the way that it is now. Obviously, we did too. So our accent's not going to sound exactly like it did either.
Well,
the idea was that it might be closer. So I will look into it more to see if there's any truth to it.
Because you've got like where New England is, of course. You got mostly of it was southern England, and then you've got the later. It was like kind of the western Northern Ireland, and then like the kind of that area, and then Cumbria and all that would come over. So there must be like in those accents kind of melded as well.
Oh, I'm sure.
A little bit, yeah.
That kind of stuff is actually really interesting to me. Just accents and all that kind of stuff.
It is. There's so much history you can find in the way you speak. Like you can
Yes.
pull out DNA from the way you speak in a way.
Absolutely.
That's it. There we go. But on that, Jay,
All right, I've
did
got
you
16
know
minutes.
Do you know Johnny Five's alive?
I've
Johnny?
watched the trailer from the day. Now I'm talking like I'm Australian. God Almighty!
That's not even English.
From the day.
You could
From
be
the
South
day,
African and say
from the day that you guys got it on the wheel, I did watch the trailer. I have no idea what the hell I was watching.
Short circuit.
I have never seen that.
I'm going to put it on now. Yeah, Short Circuit, guys. Come
Good
on.
Lord.
I mean, good Lord, it is it's an 80s staple.
Is it
Well,
this
that
is
shows how old you are.
Now, this is our second AI movie.
What was the first?
Terminator.
Oh yeah. That's right.
Wasn't it? Let's go for it.
Technically, Matrix kind of has a bit of AI.
Taking
to a
over.
degree,
And that's
yeah.
true. The
Yeah,
Matrix.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah, it could be. Yeah.
Yep. It's
Is
taking
this
over.
the girl from the Breakfast Club? The one who puts like the pixie sticks on her sandwich?
Oh my God, there's everybody. There's people.
It's everybody
Police
from that
Academy,
generation
I
in
could
this
have
film.
sworn when I saw him, like, that's got to be the Breakfast Club girl. I can't think of her name at the moment.
It probably is, yeah. Right, let's do it. Johnny Five is about to come
Oh
alive.
God, pixie sticks.
It's the ultimate soldier.
It doesn't get happy, it doesn't get sad, it doesn't laugh at your jokes.
It is quite simply the most sophisticated robot on Earth.
At Nova Robotics, the future is in good hands
You're doing real good. Just keep working on those last two bars.
thanks to Dr. Newton Crosby.
Originally, I designed it as a marital aid.
But artificial intelligence has gotten too smart.
It's malfunctioning. It might not do anything.
But it could decide to blow away anything that moves, couldn't it?
Because $11 million worth of robot just hit the road.
Wow!
Number 5 is alive.
Welcome to my planet.
You just have to find number 5, get some answers.
Why don't you come on in my house?
And it's got a lot of living to do.
Whatever it takes to put that stupid contraption out of commission, that's what you do.
Need input. Haven't had enough of this stuff. More input. More input.
And they can seem quite lifelike, but they are still machines.
Number 5 is alive.
Nice software.
How it happens, who knows, but it has happened.
A new comedy adventure from John Badham, the director of War Games.
They're gonna be after you. We gotta get out of here now. Keep alive! No!
Ali Sheedy, Steve Gutenberg, and number 5.
It is her. Just check it.
Beautiful.
Short Circuit.
I am alive.
It is a 80s classic. Yes, good grief. Everybody from Police Academy.
Police Academy. Yeah, it's 100 Police
It's
Academy.
Police Academy. Everybody from Police Academy there. Now, this is, I think it's like it's so 80s. It's one of those ones where you have like, I don't know, batteries not included, in a space and all that, just those kind of things. So it is my pick, and I do like it, and if you like it, there's number 2. So that's it. But Johnny Five's alive is always.
I've never even heard of this one, so it'll be fun to watch it.
Not heard of Short Circuit?
Yeah, never.
There we go. 1980. You can guess if it's not. I think we've got it now down to a T. If it's 1970s, it's Sandy's pick. 1980s is my pick. 1990s up for call. 2000s are mostly Jay's.
Yeah, that's fair. That's pretty fair, honestly.
we kind of working it out slowly. We got that. If it's dark and dismal, it's Sandy's 1970s.
Not dark and dismal, gritty. Gritty.
Gritty. There we go. Gritty.
I like to call it gritty.
Yeah, 90s is kind of a mix of all of us. We've all had some 90s picks.
We've got kind of that was a good, but that is such a powerful era because it's like when actually they realized, what we can use computers for now. And like, oh, what you can do that. So it got really good, but we didn't do this last week because we jumped one. But
because
I'm glad the
Project
wheel's back.
Hail Mary, yeah.
So maybe Daryl, maybe.
We'll see.
Daryl,
I was actually looking.
on.
I actually went through the list. I was like, how we've not hit one is like it's getting to a mathematical like piss off now like that. But I don't know.
The chances are increasing with every spin.
There we go. I think I'm going to say because we've not had a pick yet lately, have we? It's been.
No, I just had one.
They had the sports film.
What was
the
it?
Iron Claw.
Oh yeah, the Iron Claw. Yep, that was my.
We haven't had one of your little quizzes, your little Jeopardy type quizzes.
Oh yeah, we haven't done that.
Yeah, and I've not changed it yet like that since I think. Because I was like, I bet you can't remember. I was like, it might not be. So let's go. It's going to either be. I think it might be like a wild card or a.
Yeah, that's how we got Richard
somebody's
Burton.
pick.
Yeah.
It could be somebody's pick. So should we do this? Or hoping.
Come on.
I don't know how.
Today might be the day.
I'm ready for a Western.
We might finally get the Western.
We might get it. There we go.
Kung Fu movie, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Yes. Daryl, we can do that.
Oh yeah, we haven't. Yeah, we got the Kung Fu picks. Okay, is that Kung Fu movie?
No, it's a beautiful work of art.
It's drama. I would class that drama, not Kung Fu.
Yeah, martial arts.
I mean, it's definitely got a martial arts element to it for sure. Obviously,
but it's a Kung Fu movie.
It's an international film. Oh, it's a lot. We could go on when that comes up. That's going to be a 5-hour minimum, and it'll just be me talking.
That's all right. Me, Jay's got the weekend off. All right, here we go then. All right, let's do this. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thunderbirds a go.
Oh, I hope that's not on the wheel. That was a terrible film.
I hope it's Troy now that we were talking about it, if it's already on there.
Oh, you go.
Oh, creepy.
I don't know it. I was going to say, it sounds like something.
That's not, is that the old one? Is that the old
No,
creepy?
No, this is French. We're going French.
Oh,
this is me.
Lordy. Oh, I'm thinking of Children of the Corn.
That's what I was thinking of too, Sandy. I immediately thought of Children of the Corn.
There you go. 90s movie. Now this.
Ron Perlman is in this.
Yeah. Oh, that was quick. You're looking that up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was on your sci-fi list when you did the sci-fi.
Yes. This is. Let me get a good trailer one because this will make you go, What is he making us watch? Jay, I don't know what to say. You two were like, oh, this is why he's a bit weird.
We knew that already.
Yeah. Let me get a good thingy. Oh, it's so French. It's like that. Let me get there we go. It must be a good one somewhere. The first thing when you get like that is so old.
Yeah, I can't say that I've ever even heard of this one.
Oh yeah, it's
not a book.
It's like there's what I put 2 on there, like this and Delicatessen. Let me have things, but you're gonna have to. Ooh, let's find. Can I actually find a? Here we go.
Oh, it's only
Troy
1995.
is not on our list, so I'm
No.
going to put it on there.
What's that?
Oh
Troy?
yes,
Troy
definitely.
is not on our list, so I'm going to put that on there.
Okay. There we go. All right, now you're going to be a bit weird because the movie is spoken. It doesn't have much. It's an art French film. So
You're giggling over this. I know this is going to be really
this
weird.
is going to
Look
be
at him
out there.
giggling.
Oh, it's.
In fairness,
it's
I'm not a huge Ron Perlman fan, so I don't need to listen to him talk all that much,
worry.
anyways.
Don't worry about that. This is one of the. It's. How can I explain it? It's if you go French weird, and then you put sci-fi in it. It's one of those ones.
And you get French extra weird.
Seriously.
So I'm going to let you watch the trailer, and you'll be like, "What is he making us watch?"
Sleep, my little one. Sleep. I am the Sandman, and you can't resist me. Your eyelids are so heavy. Sleep, my little one. Sleep. Sleep.
He takes them. The devil takes them away.
What's the movie about?
What the holy heck?
Honestly, it looks kind of like Tim Burton style a bit.
Yes, it is very.
Looks interesting. Very odd, very weird, very
How do
creepy.
you find these things? Oh my
But
I
god!
watched this when I was when I first came out. My stepdad was like, he came back with he used to come out like, oh, I've just found all these weird French movies. Watch this. And in a teen, I was like, huh, okay.
I was expecting something more weird on. Like that was weird, but you made it almost seem like it was going to be so weird. Where you're like, what the hell am I even looking at?
Well, that's where I am, Jay.
It's kind of
maybe I'm connecting it to the idea of like a Tim Burton movie too much. That it's kind of
that.
grounding the idea of it a little bit.
If you
more
like
for me,
that kind of Tim Burton vibe,
I'm interested in like the weird kind of that actually looks kind of interesting.
What year is that? Let's see.
I don't know what the hell it's about. I couldn't tell you anything to try to assume what it's about, but
it came off. What was it? The Delicatessen.
95.
What's the romance one? The French one. Emily. That's it. So the same writers of that. This one was just they went really dark and like Ron Perlman. He looks so young. He's like that.
God, he does. He looks almost human.
Yeah, and he's French Canadian, so he has. Yeah.
Is there like a Freddy Krueger kind of vibe to it? Like, does he do something like?
I don't want to give it away. No, it's not really. But it's.
Oh yeah, that was. I can't really make sense of what I just watched, but it had an interesting look to it.
It's one of those movies. I think you'd be like, you love it, and you go, that's a bit odd. I need to watch it again to work it out, or you just go, the flipping heck was that? It's gonna be Polar, wasn't it? That's it. I don't, Sandy. You have to look if it's a book. It might be because it is a French.
It's not.
Maybe it is a
I
French.
looked
Okay,
immediately, and it is not a book.
Judging by the chat, looks like you're watching this one on your own, Stasis.
No, I know. It doesn't have creepy kids. It's fine. That's it. I hate to
They
say
already
this.
showed creepy kids.
Jade will be in the background, and I will make sure it's in French with dubbed, and then she'll understand it anyway. So there you go, because she understands French. So there you go. Ha ha. Get me in that. So that's how I do it. But yeah, at least. Well, I've the only other. I think I've got 2 other weird kind of French ones. I think Delicatessen. I've got definitely. That's got a great twist in it. But this one is a good simple story. It's just a bit. Yeah, it's when the French went. Let's go a bit bizarre. If you like, what's his name? The Mexican guy, who done Frankenstein.
Guillermo del Toro.
If you like that style, you like this.
Okay. I could.
Kind of
I can
style.
see some of that. Coincidentally,
so,
he did Hellboy with Ron Perlman.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. It's kind of that Pan Labyrinth kind of what feels French, but it's not French.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's
kind of vibe.
Yeah, it's got that weird. Again, the best way I can put it is that weird Tim Burton vibe. But I get your Guillermo del Toro reference as well. I can see that. I can see that.
Yeah. So there we go. So we got.
I like those kind of interesting, kind of weird.
Oh, that means I've got 2
looks.
in a row. We've got 2 in a row. We've got there we go. So 2 in a row. Short Circuit and the City of Lost Children. Now it does sound like a very horror kind of thing. Like, oh, what is it?
I think my mind went straight to Children of the Corn. That's what I was.
That's where me too. That's what I was thinking.
No, there's a good subplot onto it that you're like. I don't want to spoil it because it's the first time you've ever seen it. So
interesting.
That's good. So we've got Jay. You got two in a row you've never ever seen. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you might hate me for at least one of them.
Yeah,
Sandy definitely probably will do. That's what film club is. Interesting.
That's what film club's about. Watching things we have.
I mean,
like
these are
Short
2
Circuit.
movies that I would have never watched if not for this. So that's exactly what film club's about, in my opinion.
There we go.
I would
That
have
is
never
the
watched
love
these
of
2.
film
So
club.
now
But
I
that's
will.
it. That's it. We got some weird and wonderful ones in there, and we got some great classics in there. But it's always opening up your mind, as they say.
Well, I have to tell you,
Open your
I
mind.
am going to the theater next week, and I don't expect either of you to, unless you are interested in the newest.
Is it the
version.
Sheep Detective?
No, but that's on my list. But next week is the new version of Hamlet opening.
Oh, cool.
With Riz Ahmed and Morfydd Clark.
Oh, yeah, right. I like Riz Ahmed. He's a good actor.
And
I've
I
only
don't know.
seen him in a few things, but he's
I've not
good.
seen it on our cinema list at all over here.
Well, the trailer played ahead of
I'm thinking
Project
right.
Hail Mary. And I think both of you said you didn't see the trailer ahead of Project Hail Mary. So so I'm actually going to the theater 2 times within 4 weeks, which is pretty amazing. I mean, that's not happened in a very long time. The Sheep Detective we have to look forward to on May 8th. So, for those who are, that's going to be a good one. And
I'll
then
be going for Mario this week, I believe.
You're going for Mario.
Yep. I'm going to go check out Mario this week and do a video on that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is not on our list at all.
So Riz Ahmed, by the way,
Rob Reiner though. They're doing Rob Reiner all his
his movies. Oh, that's nice. Put them
cool.
back in theaters. That's cool.
But I'm looking like coming soon.
Will any of you go see Princess Bride in theater if they put it back? I'm assuming that'll be one of his.
I would.
Goes back.
Oh, if it is on there, yeah.
That'd probably be a pretty cool thing to do.
They're playing some good old ones. They got like they've got Prince's Purple Rain. Why? And that is a terrible movie.
But it's an amazing. That is the soundtrack of
soundtrack is great, but the movie
of my one of the soundtracks of my life would be Purple Rain. Oh my God! All I got to hear is
Hamlet's not on. Literally not on. We don't have it at my local.
It looks like Jade would definitely be down to go see Princess Bride in theater if they put that back in.
She will fly over to Boston.
I have to imagine
you watch it. You'll come in and watch it.
If they're putting his movies
back,
that's got to be on the list to put back. I would imagine if they're putting them back in the theaters.
Have a look at it's not on.
I feel like that's got to be.
I feel like there was just was it a 40th anniversary?
Yeah, maybe.
30th,
Yeah, they just maybe just done the special.
That has to be one of his most popular ones. That's nice though. That's nice that
weird.
they're putting these movies back. That's a nice way to,
Yeah, I
honor
can't see
them.
that one, Sandy. Though. Just having a look.
Side
What
note,
is-
Sandy, you may appreciate this. Riz Ahmed, I believe, is one of the people doing the recent Harry Potter audiobook.
I saw that.
I can't remember who he's playing in it, but he's doing one of the voices. And I have a friend who's been listening to them, and he says they're absolutely phenomenal versions of audiobook.
That.
Absolutely
I
phenomenal.
have
was his
both
word.
versions. I have the Jim Dale and the Stephen Fry, and they're both really good in their own way. But the Americanized version really annoys me because they did change some of the language, right? And like right away when you're on the
we invented it. Come on.
You did right away when they're on the train.
But we improved it.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
Yeah, right away they're on the train and the lady comes down with, what you would have called the sweets trolley.
The trolley, yeah. Oh, they call it a cart.
The Americans call it a cart.
Oh, that is so stupid.
It's so
That's
wrong.
Hugh Lowry's actually also, I believe, doing it as well. I know you're a
He
house
is.
lady. Hugh Lowry's one of the
It's
voices.
trolley lady.
It's the trolley lady. Yeah.
Tea trolley. Get a tea trolley. The trolley lady. That's it.
Yeah, fair enough.
Trolley dolly. You guys call it a trolley dolly. The other one that I wanted to see, and I don't see it on the upcoming films list though, is Pressure, which is the film about D-Day, focusing on Eisenhower, starring Brendan Fraser.
Oh yeah.
And
yes, I do want to watch that one. Yeah.
That
When is that?
I wonder if it's going to be
gotta go.
June D-Day. That
Oh, it makes
trailer
sense.
looked incredibly good, but I'm not seeing it anywhere on any. Oh, there it is, May 29th. Okay, so the week before. They couldn't do it on June 6th, which would have been the week later.
We're getting it apparently the 9th of September.
Really?
That's weird.
That's a big gap.
So that's a really big gap. Yeah, so it's got May 29th here. But yeah, I will be hopefully enjoying Hamlet. I gotta find it, see if it's where it's playing, probably in that little artsy theater that serves dinner.
But
yeah, I'm
we've
looking
got
forward to
really what we've all said is Odyssey that we all want to see how that works out. And then we'll have to wait. We'll have to see.
Yeah, I got to take a look.
Yeah.
I don't even
that's
know,
what I need
honestly.
Yeah, Mario. You see Mario, are you?
I'm going to. Yeah, I'm going to go see
you
it.
Want the Yoshi bucket, didn't you?
I do want to go back and get that Yoshi bucket so bad. Yoshi's always been my favorite Mario character.
Yeah.
See, I was a Sega guy, so it's just not.
So funny enough, I was also I owned a Sega Genesis, but all my cousins who used to play games, they had the N64. My grandmother had, so these are different generations. So when I had the Sega Genesis, my cousins had the Super Nintendo. And then my grandmother had an old NES from when my uncle had it. So I grew up playing those when I was at their houses. But then I also owned a Sega. And then when my cousins, when they went to the next generation and it was N64 and PS1, I had the PS1, but I was also always playing Nintendo. So I grew up with all of it. I got kind of lucky in that regard. So I have a history in all the different brands.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
Guys, I'm so sorry. I have to jump and play Easter Bunny.
I actually have to as well. So this is a perfect timing.
That's fine. Quickly, Sandy, what you coming up?
Nothing this weekend. It is
Easter.
definitely all holiday. No streaming this weekend. I'll be back at least hopefully one evening during the week if the weather stays nice. And then I have a couple of adventures to take closer to the beaches. The Maryland beaches. So you'll be seeing me from some historic towns on the Eastern Shore and the Atlantic beaches.
Nice.
Jay, what are you up to besides your
Easter hunt? You got Easter hunt going on?
No. Oh, sorry. I thought you were talking about me.
I was going to say mine are too old and
mine's too young. mine's not old
that's
enough for
a
Easter egg hunt. God, I'm getting tongue tied now. I know I'm getting tired here. You're the perfect age for that.
Yours is perfect age for chocolate high tomorrow.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, the sugar rush.
Yeah, but the thing is, he likes finding them. He's not so keen on eating them. He just like the finding of chocolate.
Well,
so
I mean, that's not the worst thing in the world. He gets the fun without the cavities. That's not a bad compromise.
Exactly. Especially us English aren't very known for our good teeth.
Fair enough.
But chat. Thank you coming on. We got some great ones, 80s and 90s. Weird coming up. But everybody, go and click on the link if you've not subbed to these two wonderful people. But from then, have a happy Easter or whatever you're going to do. But we're going to go and Sandy's off to eat some chocolate. Guaranteed now.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, there we go. And probably Jay's going to watch probably the Boston now. Probably lose some
Honestly, I don't even know. I got to see what's on tonight.
Actually,
the Red Sox have been terrible. I don't know
tight.
what's going on.
That division's got really tight. I think
we've got to be approaching playoffs, right? How close are we to playoffs?
Yeah, it's around about 6 games to go. You got.
I was going to say because the Celtics only have like 7 games themselves. So
and it's literally you're in the wild card spot, but everybody above us is losing. So it's now who you can win the division, and so can we, and we have 4th and 3rd.
That'll be a fun finish. That's for sure.
There's like 4 points in it, I think, or something like that, or something stupid. It's ridiculous, like really close.
Yeah, that's the best. That's best. It's better when things are actually close and in competition than blowouts.
Yeah, that's it. I don't know about the Caps. Sorry, Sandy. You have to look at a different division.
No, it's probably not. It's not been good lately. It's not been good lately.
I always just say I just want the matchup when the division ends. It goes into Boston, Montreal at the end.
It's been a while since we've had a good Canadians Bruins matchup. It's years at this point.
There we go. And then Jade's probably hoping for it as well, supporting the
absolutely, Jade. Let's go Bruins.
But then we can actually go and have a go. Like, we always send us sports. How are the Sox doing? And
Sox are trash. Sox are trash right now. It's not good. It's not good.
Sandy, how's your guys? After you said we're going to win last year.
Oh no, we're in 3rd place. We're tied for 3rd place. We're above the Boston Red Sox by actually no, we're quite a ways above.
Yeah.
Even though we're only one up,
2 games. We're doing awful to start.
We're one up in the standings, but we're ahead of you by 2 games already, and we've only played 7 games this season. So
and it's only going to get worse at the rate we're playing.
Do you have the Celtics?
Can't pitch, can't hit. Celtics are doing great. Celtics are doing really great. Their playoff start just about the same time as hockey. So got something going.
There we go. But I don't mind. My football, real football team won again. So that's it. We're just outside inching. If we do something miraculously, you might make the playoffs, but I don't think we will. But everybody, have a great rest of this. Do you have Monday off, you guys?
No. Nope.
I'm taking it off. I don't have it off, but I'm taking the day off.
Easter Monday.
And I had a couple days off last week.
Monday off.
Oh, yeah, nice. There you go.
Long weekend. So that's it.
I haven't had a day off
with chocolate
since December. So I am really looking forward to Monday.
I'm having enough. Do not ignore me.
I mean, literally, I haven't had a day off since the day I flew back from London. So, cool. Except for Christmas Day and, President's Day or whatever, but yeah, it's a real day off on Monday. Yay!
Should be good.
Should we have a look?
I had 2 days off last week, but I was sick as a dog, so they weren't the best.
I hate that. Do you ever get it when you book the day off and then you end up being sick?
Yes.
Like, what?
Sadly.
Okay. Who is anybody streaming? Is
Pete streaming?
Pete won't be for a few more minutes. You could send people to his stream. They'll just have to wait 10 minutes.
Okay, let's do that, Jay. Guys, if you just want to wait, that's it. Let's find.
I'll hang out over there.
There we go. Right. Oh, wrong button. Nearly pressed the wrong button. All right, guys. Remember, just chill and wait, and then say hello.
And drop the likes if you can. Drop the likes. It's always
even if that, you can drop the likes.
Hit that notification bell.
Yeah, and he's playing. Warhammer 4,000. There we go. So nice little stream. There you go, guys. So have a little bit of fun. We're watching Pete, Mr. Radical Nerd, and everybody. We'll see you for Johnny 5 is alive. For now, have a great one, and we'll see you. We'll see you next time, and hopefully we get Fargo. Just so Sandy does that whole accent for it.
Yeah, you betcha. Go Packers. Yeah.
All right, guys. Have a great one. Bye for now. Bye.